returns to the sea, into the blue. They change, but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful.
Valorant, I'm Jay Turbo, joined alongside Strive as we got Delaware up against William and Mary.
Super duper excited for this one. Of course, another week. The season has absolutely flown by. We've had so many great teams competing across so many different titles, and it's a bittersweet end, at least to the fall split, but that's a-okay. We have two fantastic teams going up here. J Turbo, Delaware, a team that has struggled against some of the top dogs in the league, but a team that is fun to watch nonetheless. And of course, William and Mary as well. They've had their issues throughout, but they're one of the OG teams in this program, and they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm really excited for this matchup.
Yeah, Delaware, they're coming in reigning champions from last season, but they've lost to UTA. They've lost to Auburn, right? Picking up good wins against Texas State and Rochester, but you still got to be able to compete with those, top four from last season like UTA. So definitely excited to see if they can keep that trajectory moving forward. They're currently sitting at 5-2. And of course, we've got a whole slate of great matches today. Cincinnati and Howard right after this matchup. And to round out the night, Texas State and UTK. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But coming back to today, William and Mary, they've struggled going 0-2 against Hawaii, 0-2 against UTK, some squads that are sitting around middle of the pack trying to push up to the top and just haven't quite been able to get it all together. But I'm excited for today, thinking that William and Mary have got a shot, seeing names like Feint and Square in the lineup, some old names that are very strong. But for Delaware, you've got Goyanji, Cosmic, Kevster, all part of that championship winning team.
Yeah, a lot of familiar names that have stood out this entire season, and all of them, I can say confidently, J Turbo, have had their moments on desk where I've been like, what did I just see? That was absolutely nuts. Not only as individuals, but as teams, and that's what makes this entire matchup just great. Super fun. And the combination, the beauty of traveling through an entire season is you've fought as a team, blood, sweat, and tears into it. You've committed so much time, effort, practice, not only for matches, but off screen as well. And this is the culmination of that. So of course the intention is to end off on a high note. And here's some of those players that J Turbo was talking about: Goyanji, Lucas, Kevster, Harissa, and that's a double Lucas. I cannot remember the fifth on Delaware's side, but that's a-okay. And William and Mary going to have Feint, SHK, Unique, Square, and Fishy. So all good here, J Turbo.
Yeah, I think the fifth member for Delaware is going to be Cosmic stepping into the lineup. And yeah, I'm excited to see Fishy and Unique as well in this William and Mary squad. Just see what they can bring to the table. Because again, this team has been around from the very beginning. I remember all the way back in December 2021 when EGF started doing Valorant, that William and Mary was one of those squads to watch. As we're going to take a look at the maps for today, we've got Lotus, Haven, and Split, with William and Mary picking Lotus, Delaware picking up Haven, and Split being that decider. And one thing I do want to point out is the fact Delaware is going to be starting on defense for both Lotus and Haven, and they've got an insanely strong attack side. So I think the fact they're going to be ending on their strongest suit going to be pretty scary for the tribe coming into this one.
Yeah, and that ending on the strong note gets very nasty, especially when you get the tail end of Lotus, right? You got a team that can hopefully finish off strong on their comfortable side, and I'm excited to see what they can pull off as they get into Haven, right? This typical trio, by the way, has become so common and comfortable throughout the entire season of EGF that these teams are tried, tested, played not only off screen, but also in a competitive, more, let's say, down to the wire nature. So everyone should be comfortable here, and at this point, relatively well practiced and versed in this entire trio.
Yeah, I think so. As we're already getting into Agent Select, you're going to see Delaware again starting on defense, and the side of William and Mary on attack, as we're already seeing Square locking in the Rays, Unique with the Killjoy, and SHK with the Sky. So we're seeing some pretty standard stuff on the William and Mary side, and the Breach locked in. So definitely showing Delaware wants to fight for some of that root control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Reach offers such great entry potential, and it's going to be combated on the other side by what I would say is not as hard of a initiator or entry. We're going to have to rely a lot on SHK, maybe coupled with some Rye Paranoia to get in on these sites. But the real beauty of what's going on in this attack end is that Viper. I think what Feint can do with that Viper is something that's going to be a little bit more difficult for the folks on the defense to achieve, at least with ease and simplicity, is that Viper wall and the orbs that are going to make it just really, really fun and easy to absorb if you're on this Lotus map.
Yeah, and I think looking at these two teams, right, you mentioned how there's going to be less of that aggressive potential for the side of William and Mary. They've got the Viper, so they're going for a double controller setup, and I think on a map like Lotus, and especially in this kind of team composition, you want to see that Viper sort of operate as a second sentinel so that you can really pull back when you're on defense, but also have some double lurking potential on offense, as we're potentially already seeing that with the Viper sent over to the A site and everyone else grouping over towards C.
Yeah, it's gonna be really great, and I have my eye peeled on what this the William Mary team can do off of this Viper, and if that Viper wall is going to be a conditioning statement, right, or is it going to be utilized and conserved more based on the play of where they're looking to take? But this wall in itself and what it offers is protection on a B take, especially. It doesn't offer that much value on A, as you can see. It's permitting University of Delaware to get quite aggressive early on.
Yeah, and they just want to try and fight for that space. Straight off the rip, we saw looked like a nade. The fault line as well committed alongside the bird, and this is just going to be a quick run straight over to C site, as that initial contact brought everyone over to A, and this is just going to be a full retake.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment. As you said, the rotate, I don't want to say over-rotate, especially on a pistol round. You're expecting a lot of fights to go down with lesser gun power. Numbers do matter here, J-Turbo, but with the spike planted now, we'll see how the retake works out for them.
Yeah, as already plenty of time ticked away. The side of William and Mary got to start moving quick, and we're going to see the flash already sent away, and as well the paranoia dropped. Lucas gets that first kill, but it's just a trade across the board, but William and Mary, the ones falling behind as their attack managed to get the plant, but Delaware with a great retake, as now it's just Rai all alone. Goyanji's going to pick that one up, and Harissa sticks the defuse.
Yeah, really good patience on Delaware. Of course, they came in strong, numbers ablazing. You can see on the minimap the one kill that, I mean, I'm 50-50 on the nature of it. I believe that was Square, pushed out aggressively out of C, looking towards spawn area. And that, although I understand the intention behind it, the numbers do reign supreme. As you can see, Delaware came in with those 4 or 5 members. I would have loved to see Square play a little bit more of a different position. They could have played perhaps on a crossfire, but that 1v1 pick, it's not the top in my book, J-Turbo, but it is pistol round. We'll take it in stride. That's what they were comfortable with, and that's what they stuck to. They got round 2 now to worry about.
Yeah, and the fact is, I was really impressed with Delaware. They were just so coordinated on both their initial fight towards Root as well as on their retake towards C. So certainly speaking to this squad that's very well practiced, as now they're already looking at the B site. Not sure if we're going to see William and Mary just go for the rush, as it is that tightest site, but they're going to be running into a little bit of Killjoy utility. As Square already rushing over. Harissa's on the wrong side of it, and that Bucky gets the job done. So I don't think they realize there's still a KJ lurking about, but it seems the rest of the team just going straight to C after pulling the rotate, and that's going to be another plant down.
100%. Now, what happens from here? How do we manage this retake one more time, this time with the numbers not in our favor? Big paranoia comes out here. It's going to force Kevster way back now, playing with a Cosmic in hand. Payne's got to be very careful in this back corner.
Yeah, this is real close, and Feint already gone. You've got to watch out for that upgraded weaponry from the winning team of that pistol. These Spectre certainly cutting past the classics, but Rai able to take advantage of one low health bar. Kevster gets unique. We're down to a 2v2, but the thing is, the defenders are on site, able to stick this plant, and now Shock trying to stick it, keep it going. Cosmic's firing away. So low. Rai just has to play time, and the Thrifty works out on the other side.
What a stellar play and a great little setup there at Waterfall, yielding so many great picks for the side of William and Mary. You got to give this team, you know, props there. They struggled a little bit on that last round, to put it politely, but they picked, I think they made much better decisions today, Turbo, in terms of their placement, and they worked well together. That was the, I guess, the deciding factor of that. Getting into a bit of a mixed gun round now as well. This is beyond delicious for William and Mary. They're so good, so well positioned with Phantoms and Spectres, you can see all across the board. This is the round that they really need to take to keep that momentum going, however.
Yeah, and they need to make sure that they don't lose any of these rifles and potentially hand over the opportunity to make this messier. I mean, that last round, Square starting things off with the Bucky racing into B, and then once there was a Spectre in hand, it seemed that the chaos just overwhelmed these trades coming through from Delaware. Now this is just an open C site from how they just had to hold, and I don't think there's going to be too much contest.
No, not so much indeed. We're back to the rinse and repeat 3 rounds in a row C take, but we'll take it now on the prowl. We'll see how they can make out here. I like the grouping, however, from Delaware. Look at that entire caboose about to come in through route in a second here. Gonna get nasty. The door opens. Fault line comes in. Gonna buy them the space. And here they go with Square opening them up. The door's gotta go. But they're getting so much value on this rotating door. It's so difficult to retake.
Yeah, it's so tough, especially with the lesser weaponry against the rifles. You can see that Goyanji's just caught a frenzy, and yeah, Lucas gets one off the sheriff, but it is all pretty clean for the side of the tribe as they take that round. And I think this is going to be where we really see the test for William and Mary. They put together a thrifty, but now we're going to see guns in Delaware's hands.
Yeah, the true test indeed, and you can see that round. Although it was a gun round, that makes a difference. I get it. I mean, don't bash me too hard, but I love that William and Mary stuck together as a team on C. They didn't go venturing out for a solo kill towards spawn. Nobody was looking to play the ones or be the, I don't want to use the term incorrectly, but be the hero of the round and take a fight that they can't win or trade out. That's the kind of stuff that matters on a tight knit map like Lotus. So you got to really be cohesive and well put together on the retake.
Yeah. Oh, we're seeing already a bit of a duel around this A site and Feint, not even wanting to try and contest, just recognizing how much firepower is present for Delaware. As the Blue Hens continuing to play a little scattered, or looking for retake on this B site as that alarm bot goes down, and now once again, rinse and repeat straight to C.
Yeah, well, I do like what Delaware's doing on this A positioning. It's just about being a little bit more versed in maintaining that position with that raise, which they've done, and then rotating back to their comfort spots after scaring away William and Mary. But here we go, Square, massive showstopper to open up the site on Lucas. That's a very impolite way to open the doors, but I'm sure William and Mary are going to take that with open arms.
Oh yeah, and now Goyanji gets shut down by Square as well, certainly putting that duelist role to work. As now 3 members left, this is such a difficult position to try and retake for the Blue Hens. We're going to see the dog get a little information. Kevster trying to pop up and maybe do something. Square finally taken down, but the trades are even, and that's always good for William and Mary as they're up 3-1.
Again, so 4 rounds past now. C has been the focus site. Delaware, I don't know if William and Mary is fully in their heads yet, but they're doing the right things. I do like how they conditioned that A long, and they were able to then retreat back and reposition, which was great. But what was different that round, or not different, rather the same, was Mary's commitment to C and how well they play that post plant is just delicious to watch. Again, we saw that quick exchange towards spawn, which I have my eye really very much peeled on, but it's nothing to be concerned about. The whole team just popped off there, J Turbo. Everyone was landing the most critical shots, and they were winning their duels, most importantly.
And you know, going into the pre-show, this is a Delaware team that is very strong, but William and Mary, you can never count them out as they've continued to show the ability to just wrap around these different sites and make sure that that C is always an option for them. Is now, again, that conditioning of A is a fake, and we're going to just try and go C. It's turned the defense away from this site, and now they're just creeping up.
This is 110% now in the mines, like we were talking about earlier. They've continually Viper wall this A, right, and set themselves up for what was looking like a potential B take, which they did hit once, but they're so good at getting out and getting to safety that now Delaware is just concerned. They're so concerned about a C take that they've repositioned to be the quick rotate, if not be close to that site on B respectfully. But here we go. Seekers, a great way to get some entry as well, with Square going to lead the charge in. Paranoia as well, and look at this beautiful symphony and how well orchestrated the site take has been.
Yeah, it was an absolutely beautiful site take, but unfortunately there was no one to actually get hit by that utility. And now that's just clearing away, creating these really difficult smokes to try and pass, and the snake bite as well for drop. This is such a great little post plan. Is Square trying to spray and pray, but Kevster diving around, at the very least gets one. Now as a showstopper, Goyanji's got a rifle. Suddenly it's all turned around, but Feint has a huge performance. It's all up to Kevster, who opened the door and is now trying to keep this ball rolling. Unique's got the rifle, Unique's got the duel, and it's another round on the board for the tribe.
Yeah, hitting the high notes of that round, J Turbo, really fun to watch. And you are right. Although the site take utility invested did not hit anybody on the way in, I think it's the routine and the motions that made it matter, right? When there is someone there, you better believe that that stuff is going to be super impactful. And if they are on the site, they're going to have one heck of a time seeing, moving, and getting out to a reasonable position to take a shot. So for William and Mary, I mean, I'll take that all day, every day. Just really well rehearsed site take from all those team members.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you. It's more of a matter of, it was so beautiful. I wish we'd been able to see the opponents get slammed by the utility and really show the power of that kind of take. But The good thing is, since there was no one there to get hit by it means they can take that same kind of execute again, and this is really showing how William and Mary starting this season with some struggles, and now it's really all coming together at the end of the fall split, and this is, again, always boding well, because there's a whole other half to this season, but that's another story, as we've got this game to go, and so far it's just a default, as both teams not wanting to give away too much.
Nope, not just yet here. A bit more of a put together and slower round coming up from this matchup here. William and Mary going back to their comfort spot of A. These guys are really good at playing the mental game, it feels like. They're just conditioning Delaware to be completely uncertain, right? They know that their C-take is stellar, so Delaware in the back foot's like worried about it, but at the same time, they're going to go ahead and one more time run through this rehearsed motion of this A-take.
Yeah, but this time there was a breach on the other side, so made life a lot tougher. As Cosmic's going to try and spray, won't be able to find much. And there's just so much being pumped in that Viper's pit going to be so difficult to try and play into. Faint's just weaving in and out, stunned up, doesn't matter. The Rolling Thunder just leads to Delaware's demise, as Goyanji's going to try and put something together, but is all blind and can barely see through the smoke. Kevster keeping this one interesting, is Unique's position potentially given away for a second, but for the Blue Hens, they're trying to play on the edge of the smoke. They're trying not to give it all away, but it seems it's just too strong. Fate's got the soul read through the smoke, and now Goyanji for a little more damage. It's just been dominant so far since the second round.
I'm going to tell you, J Turbo, that Rolling Thunder, I'm 98% sure did hit Fate, as I think I saw Fate fly up in the sky, and that would have been it, by the way. Like, that would have been, I think, the game deciding or round deciding kill to seal that retake up. But the fact that Fate survived, was able to get the kill and do, you know, the salsa cha-cha and make it out of that mess is what completely just, I don't know what to say. Regardless, though, you put the marbles aside. William and Mary have so much momentum now. They are just building up tons of money to keep on investing. You can see how much it's affected Delaware now. We're down to Stingers and half armor. Like, we are digging into the depths to try and bring a round back on the table, at least early on in this matchup.
Yeah, they're forced to half buy again, and they've just never been all that comfortable. Even the gun rounds have put them straight down to 0. Faint's going to get spotted, trying to make use of a bit of a one-way, and now we're going to see that Demolition Squad race through A again and just fall at the hands of Faint, looking for one more, and it's just not enough with those kinds of guns. Lucas, though, turns one around, deals a little damage, but that's going to be Seaside again, snatched up for William and Mary.
Yeah, all day, every day. Thus far, this Seaside has been a very comfortable place, and you know, if the recipe is good, J Turbo, we ain't here to change it or try and fix it, right? Carissa on a retake. You see the situation happening at Mound is very bleak for Breach. This is going to be one very difficult wall to penetrate, unless Delaware has just got some crazy shots lined up for us. And SHK, oh my god, not even like 1 inch of breathing room. By the way, they just go for the peak and take the shot.
Yeah, like I like the idea of that kind of play. You're going to use the door is a bit of a distraction, let Goyanji with the rifle try and take a good fight, but it just doesn't work out when you get one tapped as you open the door and there's someone else watching for the breach. They know exactly where both players were, and now we're seeing a timeout come through for William, for the side of Delaware, and I think it's definitely necessary at this point.
Yeah, J Turbo, like, super duper important here for Delaware to say, all right, what are we going to do, right? We've had our minds kind of tickle a little bit, right? Early on, we suffered drastically at C. We've had one heck of a time holding A. They're ignoring B, so what do we do? Are we going to play like a 3-2? Are we going to look to fight for space on A again? Do we want to fight for some mound positioning? Where is our KJ going to be setting up? What can we do to get our foot in this and pick up a number early? I think it's a good, you know, step in the right direction if we can see Delaware with their fight for map space convert an opening pick and then fall back to safety. I think they'll feel a lot better in a 5v4 than getting pummeled by a 4 or 5 man rotate to one of these 3 sites where they just cannot hold it and cannot retake it by the looks of it.
Yeah, and one thing that's coming to my mind is also just the mental impact of getting completely flipped on your second round buy-up after winning pistol, and then just never feeling like you've got solid footing in a round after that. As we are going to see the decision coming through, it's going to be Lucas with an operator, and that's a definite big change, and it looks like they're just going to try and have that seaside anchor and even bring over the sky. So, as you said, maybe fighting for mound is the play.
Maybe this op's got a nice little look at it. That turret's going to get popped as well. It's not the op! And that's beautiful work. Good teamwork. If that op shot that turret, that would not have been the round that it was or the pick that it was, J Turbo.
Oh, exactly. Great team coordination as we're going to see all the util come through, and at least the Rays can throw out the nade. Goyanji tries, but we're down to a 3v3, and the 3 members for Delaware on the wrong side of the map as they're trying to race by.
Yeah, they're hot rotating. Spike plant now. I like this position, by the way, more than I like your typical plant for tree setup. This gives you a lot more flexibility to play aggressive, get some opening picks, and also have a good look at that bomb. But here's that lockdown now as well. Delaware, Lucas getting stuck in the snake bite. This lockdown, just got to go ahead and take it through and give them some space to work with.
Yeah, but on the other side, you also have to watch for maybe Cosmic's fight there could have made the difference. There's a lockdown on the other side. Never mind as Lucas is taken down. And Carissa, last one standing, not able to do much as we see a 7-1 grace the scoreboard. A bit of Brazil action. Don't see it too often in Valorant, but I mean, that round, it looked so good at the start with the op kill, and then that just meant the rest of the team's like, all right, go, 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 A. There's no operator waiting.
Yeah, like this matchup as a whole, like, I put it or attest it to learning a new language, right? It's about, you have to be fluent, and the fluency I think of William and Mary's side is just there. Like they're speaking to each other without even really having to speak is what it looks like to me. They're just, you watch that last pick there towards drop on A, and the way they peek together just tells me that they've got each other's back. They're so confident, so well rehearsed on every front. It feels like it's Delaware is feeling it, J Turbo, and this is where momentum starts to kick in, and you start to ask yourself, well, we had a timeout, that didn't work, now what do we do?
Yeah, and it seemed like there were some good adjustments attempted, but oh man, at this point you just want to try and give yourself at least 4 rounds in the half so you're able to make that attacking side that Delaware is just so strong with be that difference maker, make up for this lackluster so far defensive half. But William and Mary, they've just got the blue hen's number as Kevster's going to have one nade down, but is going to fall to a rocket launcher on the other side, and that just complete B site control, and Plant's coming down.
You can hear in the fringes, here comes that Trailblazer, spam it away. Really nice job from William and Mary. Sky's on a bit of a low HP situation. KJ is getting absolutely melted across the board. We do see Lucas get one as well. Here's that lockdown being invested. Really good. Is it going to be what the doctor has ordered for Delaware? Goyanji, nice little pick as well. They have the numbers, J Turbo. First time in a hot minute, it feels like.
Yeah, this feels like it's finally their chance as Paint almost gets stuck, but now there's the stun onto the extra members. Goyanji still going down though, and Harissa with the collateral. There was still someone already on the spike, and now Delaware get their first round in 7.
Telling you, numbers are just the sauce. I'm so happy to see that they're on the board though. There's a fighting will within Delaware, I think, that is now going to start hopefully showing itself. Starts with 1, J Turbo. That's all that it is. And you can see on that board, seeing 7 red consecutive. I'd be concerned too, but let's see if they can stick with this theme. They have 2 great ultimates brewing, particularly my eyes on that Rolling Thunder again. Hopefully this time, if there's a feint flying in the air, we're not going to one ding to the forehead and just convert that ultimate into nothing. We'll see. Delaware, just keep at it. They got to keep pecking away at William and Mary.
Yeah, it hurts that the all the way back with that Viper's Pit, the round-defining kill was like just a certified phantom moment.
Big time.
That's always painful. There's now Harissa actually trying to take this bait a little more aggressively, and Square just praying, knowing there's an alarm bot out there somewhere that I can't see, but all the shots go wide for William and Mary. And oh, Harissa straight through the smoke!
If Square was asleep, now's the time to wake up. I'm just joking. Definitely not asleep, but that's just the moment where you're like, okay, maybe I'll take a drink of my water or a bite of my sandwich and just contemplate getting clapped in the forehead through the smoke. But hey, the number advantage again is now towards Delaware. With this Rolling Thunder, a site retake might just be the best thing the doctor has ordered for them.
Yeah, and there are Seekers on the other side for this initial take for William and Mary. Does look like they might be doing a bit of a make noise A, run straight to B through the little cubby. As the wall is up, we're seeing members continue to draw back. This is just so tense. Kevster finally spots one, and the bit is up. The trap is set, and oh, shot gets shut down while trying to take out the Seekers. Little trade from both sides. Kevster's shot flashed away, remaining. But now it's all up. Blue hens, they're continuing, and now they're going to hear that piece break down. Lucas is here for the response, and we're going to see the spike attempted to be planted, and that's going to probably be the end for Unique. It actually does get the read, but Kevster gets the kill.
Is it just me, J Turbo, or the past 2 rounds for William and Mary has been a whole new strat book? Like, that sneaky play is not what we've seen historically from this team. They've been very sight forward, very much get in there, you know, put your gloves on, get the job done, and take your gloves off and on to the next day or the next job. But now we're getting to some sneaky plays, some Viper Wall stuff, and I don't know if that's the sauce for these attackers right now. William and Mary, their roots, I think, really lie well when they're committed to a site. They just get in, clap their foreheads, they got to clap, get the shots done, and get the spike. And it's just, yeah, they got to go back, I think, to that play style a bit more.
Yeah, and Strive, I really like you bringing that up because I hadn't even noticed, but you're 100% on it. It feels like that those bread and butter executes just haven't been happening the same way for William and Mary. And part of that could be some adjustments from Delaware, but it also feels like there's opportunities for them to go for those same kinds of plays, and they're choosing not to. As now it looks like we are seeing that C set up again with Feint trying to lurk it up, and one trade, a few members spotted. The team's not wanting to commit to this C site, potentially afraid of maybe another operator in that KJ Sky combo on C.
You're right, and again, that's just me hypothetically posing stuff, but you're right, there could, to your point as well, adjustments could have been made, thoughts have been put together, say, listen, we're going to try and play a little bit slower, do something sneaky and see how that works out. But the plus side here for Delaware is with that trade that happened on A, which is, by the way, I haven't seen too many of those coming out from the team on the defense, but they've got that space now held with the Omen, 44 on the clock, and the William and Mary team is completely undecided now. I mean, now shifting towards A with 38 to go, doesn't leave a lot of breathing room, and Harissa's going to have to get out of here if things get nasty.
Yeah, it's going to be tight spots, multiple members, and now we're going to use that paranoia to try and just continue to buy time. Two are dropped. Goyanji and Cosmic get one apiece on opposite sides of the map, and now that numbers advantage squarely towards the Blue Hens, as we've got the Rolling Thunder as well, just waiting to hear that spike planting come through as the Trailblazers there. Here comes the Rolling Thunder. Rye's gonna fly for a second, try to get back to the plant. Will still stick it, and now it's that 2v1, and SHK is not looking the right way. Rye knows where Goyanji's standing, and who's gonna win this duel? Wait for it to be that 2v1. Goyanji, she gets the kill, she sets it up, and now it's 4 on the board for the Hens.
Stellar. I mean, that Rolling Thunder did what it had to do. They weren't rotated in position to peak, but at least it bought some time. And I will say on that final pick, Goyanji, big round of applause and pat on the back. Like, being patient like that to set up what you pointed out, J Turbo, which was that 2v1 peak onto the last remaining member of William and Mary. That is just saying that they are calm, they are at peace, they're not looking to be over aggressive and being caught up in the moment. It's very easy to accelerate and want to peek and get the kill, but they communicated, they played into that 2v1, and they're really pushing hard now. And hopefully this last round is solidifies towards Delaware's side, because they have definitely turned up the heat in this matchup.
Yeah, and now the momentum's going the other way. Last round of the half, I think if Delaware is able to get to 5, that's a very successful half for this squad that looks pretty down and out midway through. And now we're going to see extra patience, but so many members committed to this right side, and no one from Delaware wanting to fight for root. So as well, just both teams trying to play it safe, not giving anything away. And that smoke will be an indicator, at the very least, there's a few members hanging about.
What they can pull off here now. Good patience from William and Mary. I like to see this. They're keeping Delaware on their toes for the most part. But with, again, a minute now to go, something's got to commit. And look at these little sneaky moves by Square, getting a nice one onto Harissa. And that's trouble because you've lost your Omen, your Smoker, who's going to be the one to set up opportunities and separate picks. No longer in the mix. And that's going to give them a free reign. And here's the textbook Viper's ultimate as well, J Turbo, to really secure that side up for the most part.
And last time we saw this pit on the A side, it was just great success for William and Mary, as we're going to see the showstopper instead to try and isolate that Viper. Still can't spot anyone, will eventually get SHK, and we were even for a moment. Rye brings the advantage back over to the tribe, and now it's all up to Kevster. There's 2 ultimates on the site, and just 1 member trying to survive, and Feint makes this an 8-4 half for William and Mary.
Yeah, just that's solid though. All things put aside, and let's talk about the William and Mary side of things, or rather the Delaware side of things. They fought tooth and nail that round, and at the end of the day, for them to be able to pull together 4 despite that very rough turbulence in the beginning, I give them 10 points for Gryffindor. I don't know how else to put it for you, J Turbo. They truly deserve those 4 rounds. They earned them. Now we're going to see what Delaware can do on what is hopefully their strong side here, and can make some magic happen.
I don't know if they're Gryffindor just because William and Mary have a griffin for their mascot, but I don't know, maybe Ravenclaw because it's like a bird. It's like the closest thing. They've also
I'll
got
take it.
blue in their colors. I could see
I'll take
that.
it, Chief.
10 points to Ravenclaw. See that.
There you go.
And I mean they got the House Cup last year with the title, and now they're looking to try and do that again. But it all starts with having a strong pistol. But we don't know if that's gonna be the difference maker as well. We saw they won that first pistol last time, and it didn't work out well so far. The trades are working great for Kevster, especially leads the way, getting 2 of those 3 kills, and now that numbers advantage 2v4 for the side of Delaware.
Off we go with Rye, stuck here in Waterfall. Just gonna have to look for patience and find some peace now. Hope for something to come out of spawn, perhaps. And nice little Trailblazer gonna get information onto Unique. And this is a great setup for Delaware. I mean, 4v2, the numbers speak for themselves. William and Mary gotta come out of these choke points and have to sing like no other. And that's going to get shut down. Kevster, good for 3 kills this round and about to solidify this for Delaware if the common theme continues, which is the amazing Land of Sea, which has been a huge focus, by the way, in this series thus far.
Yeah, tons of focus here in that first half, and now starting off the second as well. Unique trying to, I think, deal a little more damage or get 1 more for the road, a little money in the back pocket, but Kevster rounds it off with a 4K for himself. And that's definitely the start you want if you're a Delaware fan.
Absolutely agree with you. Super happy to see them falling into the William and Mary approach of Slamma-Jamma on C. Let's see what they can continue on with here. Lotus is that map, though, J-Turbo, that I think really relies on great control, especially in these longer sites at Mound, at Long A. And from there, once you have some comfort to work with and you have a good eye on it, you can then really be the dictator of how the rest of the round unfolds. You gain that flexibility, whereas if you're committed straight to one end of these 2 sides, or uncommitted rather from a defense perspective on one of the longer looks, I think you suffer a lot. You got to get that information early on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just 3 site maps are so tricky to play at times because of the ease of rotation. And the fact is, sometimes it's easier for the attackers to move between sites than the defenders, as we're seeing just a few shots fired and a lot of pressure, just a huge stack towards this B site. It's very popular when you've got a bunch of Spectres, so like this this option from William and Mary, but so far it feels like a Western where they're just staring each other down, but can't quite make eye contact yet. We might just see it around the corner as we see a lot go down. We're going to see a Paranoia come out alongside another bird, and everyone's blind. Shots are firing. No one can see anything. Square gets one. Cosmic gets another, but the guns work out in Delaware's favor this time, as Unique once again gets a sheriff shot for the road. There's 2 in a row, and suddenly this is doable for Unique.
Oh, am I ever excited to see how this round unfolds. With those 2 shots, I feel great. We do recover a little Spectre as well, and Delaware hits the ejecto button to go and hit that C site, but I like the position being gained as well. And this is smart from Delaware, by the way, J-Turbo. Just doubling up on spawn with that plant position. Let's see how it works out. Unique's probably going to get a whiff of this situation and realize that, oh boy, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, and Goyanji just dropped. Could definitely hear the footsteps, but this is a spot where you don't know what the crossfire is going to be. You go for the tap. Kevster's already there. Unique stuck down to 40. There's a nade as well. So much damage coming over the top. But I will say, very, very expensive buy-up from Delaware. Lots of damage inflicted by William and Mary.
Yeah, good point as well. And the positioning and the awareness of the retake from Delaware and going up plant for spawn, I give them, you know, again, 10 points. They're really, both these 2 teams actually are so well connected to each other, I feel. And it kind of leans into what I brought up towards on the death side, J-Turbo, right? We've played through 8 weeks now of EGF. These 2 teams are seasoned, they're strong individuals like you pointed out, or in strong teams as you pointed out, and that's the result of what you're seeing here, which is this really nice close matchup on Lotus.
Yeah. Didn't look like it was going to be so close, and the Hens really picked it up in the latter portion of the first half. Now looked pretty strong in the second, but worse weaponry. They've got sheriffs, and we'll see if those one-taps come through. Saw how dangerous it was from Unique last round. Already some good stall tactics being used by the side of William and Mary. That Viper doing exactly what she needs to, as you've got your 2 pseudo sentinels stuck together. Now the race on in from those with some dashes. Goyanji getting rid of feint. That's the biggest start. And Unique hanging around the side. But Lucas has the flank. Lucas sees everything, but misses the opening shot. Oh no, Lucas, you can't give it away like that.
Oh no. Not like
Unique
this,
on
J
site,
Turbo.
got 2 more.
I can't take this kind of stuff. This is just not okay. And now Square gonna get the one. Tester stuck in a precarious position and permits the trade for Rye. Oh, Lucas, why'd you have to do us dirty like that?
Lucas, Luke, oh, and you saw just shot after shot go just wide, and those ones are painful. I think you take away one gun, and then, well, actually, I don't know what happens there because Unique as well had a huge standalone performance, just picking up 2, but that was still a save coming through from the side of Delaware, so can give the give a little grace room. And now we're seeing a scrappier buy. Square having to go down to the judge. Feint's not going to have a great weapon, but full Vandals for Delaware. So I think this is the moment they really gotta make sure they pick up this round.
Yeah, I'm 110% with you. Let's see what they can flex out here. It's also fun and dynamic to watch an attack without a Viper. I think it's a whole different dimension of Lotus, which is just stellar to see. Because not everyone can play Viper on a regular basis, J Turbo. So you get to learn a bit about both approaches. We'll see how they can fare out here, though. I like the positioning from William and Mary. Again, very A-long forward, which is what you want to do to gain some early info.
Yeah, we actually saw Square swap off of the judge, go over to this Bulldog, so maybe that rifle could give a little bit more potential as Rye does go, trade down. I want to say that there's still Squares hanging out, but Lucas wins a duel over Feint as well. Gonna shake off the jitters from last round, and it's all looking good for the side of Delaware, winning their duels, using the range. Now Unique gonna still pick up Goyanji, and feels like after last round's performance, Unique always someone to be scared of. Wait just a few more seconds. Spike does come down. And now it's up to Delaware to just play together and not give anything away for free. There's already nades. Marissa's around the other side. And Unique knows this is such a tough position to try and play. The bot's on as well. And maybe Unique is just going to wait. Goes the complete opposite direction. Wants to use the lockdown to keep this round going. Hasn't even started trying to defuse. And this is quite the option as that extra nade might just be enough. Alongside the paranoia, Lucas is gonna have this angle, peeks forward a little bit, and despite all the attempts, it's 7 on the board for Delaware.
Yeah, minus getting a 2-piece combination there and then bringing it down to a 1v1, maybe with a lockdown or something of that nature. Plus, there was a whole set of nanoswarms set up. Not much you can do, J Turbo. Let's be 100% frank with each other. You said it yourself. A very difficult position, 110% agree. You just take it in stride, right? At the end of the day, I do agree with you though. However, Unique is very, very scary and a super stellar and solid player to watch. But numbers at the end of the day, they speak for themselves. We'll see how they can fare out though. All things put aside, Delaware still strong, still looking very, very good, and I think they're going to get their foot back into it once they're back on another bye again in the future.
Yeah, honestly, last round, I really was hoping we'd see Unique walk away, take the save. I mean, the rest of the team's going to have to, half buy or not get much. So it gives you that hero rifle potential, see if something happens. But this time around, it's just going to be some ghost sheriffs. I think I saw a stinger or 2 picked up. And C looks to be the site.
Yeah, I'm with you. That would have been so much more value. And the lockdown as well, J Turbo. Like, that ult is worth so much that, yeah. Again, take it in stride. You felt it in the moment. It felt like the right thing to do, but just didn't convert the results that you were looking for.
Yeah. It's those moments where if you pull it off, you're a genius, right? But you lose it, and it just hurts a little bit. As now we're going to see Delaware go for their A side, execute the Viper wall, holding things down. The rest of the team's on the other side as well. It's going to be a 5v5, I think, as Paranoia, Utils absolutely everywhere. You're going to see Kevster drop the nade, trying at the very least clear Feint away, and there's going to be the rolling thunder that makes the difference. Showstoppers up, nobody's in the crosshairs, and there's a lot of messy weaponry as Square's got the Bucky, and who needs a rocket launcher when you're at close range? The action doesn't stop. Rye's able to pick up a better gun. Harissa and Lucas get a pair of kills for themselves.
One enemy remaining.
Neek, we've seen him be scary, but Cosmic's got his number. It's all up to Rye. Does have a Vandal, does have a chance, does have a first kill, and continues with the wraparound. Goyanji's on the other side of the smoke. This is just going to be a matter of spraying through, seeing if you can find the kill, or walking right into your opponent. Rise somehow brought this into a 1v1. Lucas is looking for an opportunity, and finally at the end, it's going to come through, but Rai felt like you almost had that.
Rai was there. I mean, the brains were, all the neurons in Rai's brain were firing in that clutch situation. Super smart, great awareness of the positioning of Goyanji, by the way. And I'll comment on one thing that you said on the side take, which was it's going to be a 5v5. And I want to give William and Mary +1 there for rotating so quickly. You have to appreciate their awareness and commitment to that site take. They weren't as patient as we've seen Delaware historically being, where Delaware was constantly playing a retake game, but with 2s and 3s and or waiting for the rest of the team to rotate and support each other. Whereas now we just saw a 5-man, head-to-head battle. It's just, it's a whole different look at it and a different approach on this attack side for Delaware.
Yeah, it's really and this is what I was hoping for this squad. They've only lost 1 round, and their attacks are just so lethal when they're able to set the tempo of the round, and they're able to decide what fights are taken. This could be a bit of a bloodbath at Mound. Flash goes over top. Square does, I think, get at least partially revealed. That's going to be enough information for the team to just start backing off.
Square just is itching on the mouse one, saying, can someone please show up? I have a really nice spot right now, and this might happen. I really hope that Raze or Square doesn't get too adventurous and go for a solo pick. I like the fact that Sky is here. Can play off of SHK if they do decide to cross hairs. Meanwhile, the whole kip and caboodle is about to get set up on this B take with 40 to go. J-Turbo, someone's got to push the go button here.
Oh, I think this might just be a play towards C, where they're going to open the door, put Square into the meat grinder, but instead Square steps out, takes everyone down. Goyanji is the only one to get a kill on the other side of the wall, and now Spike is stuck. There's only 20 seconds to go, and William and Mary turned it all around off of Delaware's play. I think Goyanji's just going to try to save this one, maybe get one more kill for the road onto Unique. Looks for the fight, and Square shuts it down.
That round is immensely traumatizing to watch, by the way. William and Mary is like the monster under your bed ×5. Like, you think you're good, but no, there's a person behind Mount, a person around the corner, and a person winning at rotating door, and I get a showstopper to the forehead. Like, it's every team's worst nightmare comes true in a matter of 6 seconds flat. That is a very, very strong defensive hold, by the way. Put it to chance that everyone was there in that time and position to make it happen, but it just speaks to the whole William and Mary approach to this map thus far. Really concrete holds. Yes, they have been struggling, but slowly but surely they're crawling out of the situation that they found themselves in off of that first half.
Yeah, now getting to double digits, that's really big for William and Mary, and for Delaware. It just hurts to think you've got the read on your opponents, to have things set up, and to think you've got the drop, and instead Square says, I'm just going to run into your team, not care one bit, and just take the kills. As we get a little bit of Kevster's POV. He's just trying to clear away every single little angle.
Patience is a virtue, and of course here at EGF we do appreciate corners being cleared, as we do everywhere. Delaware now making some moves onwards and upwards. Looking to the ranges, trying to find an opportunity, but a very, very passive setup from William and Mary. You can see their Unique is the lonesome dog, just scoping things out as a whole different set of activities. And what are the chances that they actually go towards B, towards where a large member of the defense is set up? The Pinchy's there. Fade's going to go ahead and snake fight for the push, but gets the 1, gets the 2, gets the 4, and the nade finally gets the kill. That's going to leave it down to Harissa in a 1v2.
Oh, and this is, of course, doable for Harissa, but she does get spotted. Only has a Marshall. I think there's a Phantom on the ground, but wasn't quite able to pick it up. And now with the alarm bot as well, that's going to make this a very, very difficult post plant to try and play. We can see that Unique and SHK are wrapping around the back site. This is just going to be some Sheriff gaming to take this round, or at least to attempt it. 30 more seconds to go, and that Seeker as well gives away the position, just looks for one shot, almost got 2, and now it's going to be William and Mary going up to 11.
I love those moments of 1v2s, or even with Sheriffs in hand in a precarious spot like that. It always gets my blood boiling at level 9,000 J-Turbo. Like, that second shot, had it landed, I would have fallen off my chair. I guarantee it. And I could have played it back for you on some recorded camera. But man, close rounds back and forth between these two teams. Like, nail-biting moments here. And this reset, this like shift of the Viper now to defense is really forcing Delaware to play a little bit differently, right? They have to be so much more cognizant of where they want to hit these sites and how they want to hit them. And just the amount of utility as well from William & Mary is really, really frustrating, J Turbo. Like, imagine, you got a snake bite, you have paint shells, you have nano swarms. It's a lot to deal with on if you're a Delaware team member.
Yeah, there is so much flying at you. And this is where the game really starts to slow down, where Delaware can feel the pressure of giving up game point. And I think for William & Mary, they know giving away one pick, having one extra member go to the other side could be that difference. As we see the Viper's pick countered out by the lockdown. A little contesting, some utility drops, but eventually it is just going to be the back off. Viper's pit's used, and it should fall away in just a couple of seconds. There was one going down, but the decay meant that those nades do all the work necessary from Unique. Square gets another kill. It's all up to Kevs for sure. Everyone's blind, but you can barely see them. It's now down to a 2v3. Suddenly doable, but very little util to work with for Harissa and Kevster. They're each dancing around the site, running into flash after flash, opponent after opponent. And now it's all to Kevster, the duelist for this Delaware team.
30 seconds left.
Doesn't know where to take the fight first. It's going to be the wrong side of SHK's Phantom, and it's William & Mary threatening game point.
Match point.
Big threats coming out. William & Mary, I will go ahead one more time and echo the same comment that I made about 3-4 rounds ago. They are so fast on the rotates, J Turbo. Like, you cannot dismiss the fact that, yes, they're coming in a site. William & Mary's got, or Delaware's got 5 people running in. William & Mary are posted up with 4 or 5 people, and they're not giving any room for the utility to come to life before they collapse in and make their presence known. Just with the positioning of Square on site there and Unique and Co, they're holding the angles very actively. They're in fact active defenders, not necessarily playing the passive retake, which I love to see. It's a great approach to this map in particular because it is very, very precarious to play an exclusive retake approach.
Yeah, and I think the fact there has been a little bit more of that aggression from William & Mary has worked well for them. We saw that when Delaware was controlling the pace of play, was able to take the lead on these positions, that they were just looking so strong. But now that Square's getting a little more involved, SHK's taking aggressive information, it's just leaving Delaware feeling like there's nowhere to go.
Totally agree with you. As we hit that match point, the pressure's on, as you said earlier. Delaware tap that orb. That's going to give Kevster that very, very critical showstopper. They're still sitting on a Omen ult as well. From the shadows, I don't know where they're going to go with it, but that's going to be a great little factor as well for a flank. Harissa does get a nice pick that is optimal to get the numbers advantage early on. With 45 to go, though, Delaware making a move off. Boyanji getting a very sneaky Rai, who's gone on a solo quest. And with Kevster opening up the site on this C area with a showstopper, all seems to be good. But Square, hold on! Wait a minute, what?
30 seconds
Square,
left.
just the sneaky little rat sitting in the side, taking valuable seconds off the clock. Now we're going to see a safe plan attempted. SHK gets one. Cosmic's got no HP, and it's all over as William & Mary take Lotus.
They are just nuts with their confidence and just how dedicated they were to their rotates. That last round there with Square being in position, you got to give William & Mary a multitude of props. I mean, J Turbo, I think that's one of the funnest Lotus maps I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, that was an absolute blast to watch. I mean, we saw Delaware really start to bring it back at 2 different points, but William & Mary just able to keep it going when it mattered. And this is not at all what I was expecting. I mean, seeing Delaware last week looking super strong, but William & Mary taking the win. And now we'll have to see if they can keep that momentum going on to Haven or if Delaware can snatch it back on their map pick, as we'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back, as we just saw William & Mary picking up map 1, and it was in quite convincing, or not super convincing, but it was really off the back of their duelist Square. He stepped up.
That's truly the best way to put it. Like the value earned in that last round is particularly with Square getting 2 on the way to the site taken through. I mean, my mind was blown. I'm like, this is for sure going to be a retake. Like there's no way that they're going to post up here with all these footsteps, but that was not the case. And that's, you know, built off the fact that William and Mary was just so good on the rotates. I will repeat that day in and day out. And for me, as we traverse through this entire EGF series, I love to pick up on high notes of different teams and make them a memorable statement in my mind, because I get to look back on them and see if that's consistent or if they make changes. And as a whole, William and Mary, just such a fluid and well rehearsed team on defense that they're just great. Like they are super duper aware. Their mind is very much committed into the game as much as their crosshairs are committed to landing the critical shots they need to land.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw William and Mary picking up their map pick of Lotus, and now we're heading over to Delaware's in Haven. And they're a very, very strong Haven team, but with William and Mary, it seems finally having their core roster all together and really enabling Square to just go for some of these moments. I mean, my mind goes back to the Mound pickup where they were getting crunched in and Square says, I'm just going to take the fight forward, gets one with the showstopper, gets a second with the Phantom, and then the rest of Delaware just falls apart. As now we're going to be going into Agent Select, and so far, looking pretty standard from William and Mary. They got the Jet, they got the Sova, looking at the KJ and the Omen, and that last spot's going to be, I think, the question of if we're going to see the Breach or if we're going to see the Sky.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very much standard, like you said, J Turbo. This, by the way, is probably my number 1 or 2 favorite map in the entire lineup. It's just so diverse, very much Lotus-like in its nature with the 3 sites, but just a different look. And I think it's fun, and it really does force these teams. I made that comment, right? Like all the neurons in the brains are firing when you're focused on a map like Lotus. The same has to be applied to Haven. Map control is critical. You'll often find yourself looking to find some space early on at long A or get an opening pick on grass or something. And the impactful moments, I think, for these two teams are going to come off of those duelists to be mobile. And I believe that you're going to see more operators in this map that you saw on Lotus. And for Square and Kevster, getting picks and getting out is going to be a really huge factor in being especially fluid on the rotations as a duelist on the defense side, right? Kevster can easily float around and find opportunity across all 3 of the major lanes.
Select your agent.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we're seeing just this weight on whether or not we're going to see Goyanji stick with that breach. I think that we're going to just see true mirrors across both sides as the clock ticks down, and we are going to get that breach as the 5th member. So complete mirror teams, not going to see any agent difference makers. I think last game, that Viper as well, as opposed to the... gosh, what was the option on the other side? I want to say it was the extra initiator. But the fact is, that extra smoke coverage was huge for William and Mary. Their Viper's pits got so much value at being able to just close out a couple rounds. And now we're not going to see that difference. It's just going to come down to pure raw execution from these teams.
Yeah, that is, by the way, one of the funnest things to watch is pure raw execution, right? The focus here, I'm going to go back to Square, right? Square looked very, very stellar on that raise and really fun to watch. If that same theme is to continue and be true as we get into this matchup, we are in for one heck of a roller coaster. I will, however, preface that by saying I have seen Kevster play Jet, I believe, on this exact same map. Very vivid and odd memories. Don't, again, take it with a grain of salt, but for some reason it sticks out. I just love to watch Jet and love to see what these two teams are, or these two individuals can do for each of their teams respectfully.
Yeah, and we saw some great standout moments from Kevster in that last map, showing why they are the main duelist for this Delaware team, continuing to have that trust given into them from last season. The championship winning roster. They were a squad that struggled at the start and then really brought it together in the postseason. It's now Lucas and Square dueling it out, and of course Square coming out on top, grabbing all that space, and the A stack just not working for Delaware.
You can see that the intention was to go for a mega flank instead of being the fast rotate approach. So that's okay. We'll see how they can fare through coming in garage now. Unique's about to be welcomed with some opponents in a quick moment here, but I like the setup on C, by the way, with the Breach, Omen, and KJ all tripled up there. That's the way you want to play it. Not looking to play it from long with the Smoker alive. As you can see, they do smoke up that long C, so critical choke points. Let's see how it pans out.
And we have to watch. There's a Sova sticking back around, and Harissa still gets the kill, but all of them are going the other way. It's just up to Goyanji as there's not much time on the clock left. Square still playing from one side. There's a KJ on the other, and Square gets the first. The last is once again we see William and Mary taking the opening pistol.
Huge. And I mean, Delaware, common theme off of Lotus, their rotates weren't the sharpest in the shed. I mean, this is still pistol round. They're starting off with the flank approach, but they gave up too much space on C to begin with to make that flank worth anything in the grand scheme of the round. You know, stepping back to some of the things that we hope to see after the timeout for Delaware, I'd love to see them play a little bit more stable, right? A little bit more fluid in their movement and be that William & Mary Giga Brain type of team, right? You got to think ahead of the ball. You can't be reactive all the time.
Yeah, as we're already seeing William and Mary wanting to slow down, make sure that they're getting as much information as they can before using their gun advantage. And Lucas just posted up right next to the side of this box, and that's always fun when you got the shorty just waiting around. And now here comes the pressure. See if that shorty can do much of anything, as Square will be able to get the kill after taking a decent chunk of damage. And that's going to be plant secured for William and Mary. And now the run over from Delaware.
Feels like the rotates start happening, J Turbo, when the spike planting sound comes out. That's a little bit too late, I think, right? You got to be in your position ready to react and maybe pick up on some picks as they're entering site, maybe. I just don't know. I feel like it's so reactive on the rotate, and it gives William and Mary infinite time to plant, get in position, have a sip of their coffee and a bite of their sandwich, and then have to worry about killing people, you know?
Yeah, and in this moment, they went for the stack on one side. It just didn't work out. Gyanji's going to get one more. Cosmic gets a couple taps and already making this a little bit more expensive as Harissa wants to try and go for the smoke defuse, and there's just too many shots. Rai actually going all the way up for that extra Phantom. Does pay some dividends as we're going to see the expensive guns carried over and a bit of buying coming through for the rest of the team.
Yeah, all good. So here now, J Turbo, we can see some of the utility, hopefully, for Delaware start to kick in a little bit, right? You got the KJ, who's got a gun, who's going to put the alarm bot on B, which should give some more flexibility to Breach to be a bit more mobile, for Omen to support on this T side especially. They're going to play a little bit more aware with some of this information they can gather. Couple that with what's looking like a bit of a jiggle peek from that Sova and Jet on long A. Great information gathering, maybe a pick or two, and then hopefully we can just chill out and let the rest unfold as it should.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we're just going to see this being that first real A attempt of this half. Makes sense now that you've got the rifles. Try and take some of these longer angles. We're going to be running into three members from the Hens. Kevster doing that first one, and Spike spotted, and we're not seeing extra members rotate. So again, I think once you see that Spike, as you said, we're not seeing the instant transitions coming through, as now Gyanji's going to try and deal some damage. Does get one more, a little damage dealt onto Unique, but the rest of the team just so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them a +1 for that hasty transition, especially with the lockdown there. Nobody's rushing to get their themselves locked into a nasty situation with the KJ ult, but now they're in position. Harissa out of heaven here, looking to get one. Lucas is a little bit bamboozled coming out from below. Big flashpoint as well. We're going to keep them at bay, and this is great for William and Mary. They've been historically very strong, and coupled with that paranoia not landing on much of anything useful, and this crossfire. J Turbo, Harissa's out in a very precarious spot in a 1v2 and a crossfire. Not going to be easy pickings here.
Oh, Feint got the perfect timing for one, and again, just wasted enough time despite going down, as Harissa will just have to back away, try and hold on to this gun as a very... Oh no, Harissa jaw! You can't give that one up. I mean, SHK, you're just stuck trying to hold sight at that point, but an extra gun for Delaware would have been huge this round.
Every little bit counts in the long run, J Turbo. You're right, but it's okay. I mean, that's a mini-map radius miscalculation. We'll attest it to 2 pixels being burned out on the monitor. All is good. We'll see now for Delaware. Again, back on a save, common theme for them, what they're able to pull off in these early few rounds. This is very much Lotus-like so far in an odd way, isn't it? Like, they're just so good on this attack side, and they play off each other on, like, it's too easy, man. It just feels too easy watching it William and Mary play.
Yeah, and the fact is they didn't have a full list of guns, and now, of course, they do. Lucas actually gets 2 back though off the side. These sheriffs putting in some work. Has a little more damage dealt. Lucas got a 3rd. And now it's once again all up to Gyanji. She's got a stinger, upgrades it to a Phantom, only has 13 bullets, but maybe that's enough. 8 in the chamber, trying to isolate this into a couple 1v1s. The plant's going down. That's a headshot. Only got 2 bullets left. Gonna need that headshot into one more with the Phantom. We're going to see the Aftershock used and no bullets in hand. SHK going to pick it up. And this is 4 in a row already. Not even the pistol in hand for Delaware, as this is the kind of dominance, as you said, we saw on Lotus.
Yeah, 100%. Delaware needs to stop this funneling effect that's taking place, right? By now, they had to have realized that William & Mary is very simple and to the point with their site takes. Lotus was the same theme, right? Long C, they just run it up. You're not getting anything super crazy out of garage, and I do like the KJ setting up there to get some information on that area. But when they see something going down, I don't feel like, at least in this early initial stages, that they're faking. They did change up their playstyle in the second portion of the first half on Lotus, but that's what they need to realize now. That William & Mary has an approach. They're going to stick to it until things start going sideways or a timeout comes out, perhaps.
Yeah. As Harissa wise to just back off, calling, I think, for the rest of the team to start shifting over. We're seeing that A site all but given up already. And the rest of the team trying to come for the retake. They do have the Rolling Thunder, so one big tool available. Spike has gone down, time already ticking. And Lucas does have this garage angle, almost caught square. And that could have been a huge pick to open things up, as SHK instead takes the opening pick. Goyanji able to make use of that paranoia, and now Kevster not able to do too much as a couple trades come through, but Delaware coming out on top. But Unique still here, still could have lineups, as Cosmic is just going to stick it. Pros don't fake, but the thing is, you've got to watch out for that smoke dropping, as we're seeing taps come through, and there's the secondary no fake, and finally Delaware have one on the board.
Nice stuff. I mean, big ups to Delaware for getting some huge opening picks and really funneling in off of their utility. There was no sense of hesitation on that retake, which I think was a common theme on Lotus that they struggled with, right? Giving up 1s and 2s without any value earned from those picks and trades, perhaps pushing too far out of the site. But William & Mary are going to continue, I think, to stick to their guns, right? At the same time, they've had a lot of success on C. They've been very, very much impartial to the B site, which, by the way, J Turbo, what's your take on B? I personally think it's a very valuable and relatively simple site to take, but in my time at EGF, I don't see too many teams really loving to take it that much.
Yeah, B site, it's just so tough to hold in the post plant because it is so easy to take, right? You can get in, get out, cut off the angles, but I'm surprised we haven't seen any pressure applied to try and use that for other site transitions. See a lot of teams use it as an avenue into A, as we already see those knives used by Square. There was no gun picked up for the Jet, so that's going to be one to watch. Kevster and Cosmic already get a couple of kills. The kunais are flying, but finally Kevster gets shot down. Those wings are out, but Cosmic's able to pick up the pieces with a 3K of his own. Now it's once again all up to Unique, and there's just not much to do after getting spotted. Cosmic as well, maybe just trying to get a little bit more information. Unique knows that this is potentially doable. There's maybe one low health bar, but the spike's gone. It's on the other side of site. 40 seconds to go, so no need to rush things quite yet.
Nope, not at all. See what we Unique can do, clearing out a couple angles here. This crossfire this time should be more than optimal for Lucas and Co. Cosmic low, playing it safe, of course. A jiggle and a peek, some warning shots to alert of what's happening, and Cosmic confidently swings it. Delaware, nice little setup. Really well played.
Yeah, and I don't hate the idea of going for, of giving away your position sort of like that for Unique, because you know that there's probably one on your right corner, and you could potentially pull out a proper 1v1 duel, and that almost worked out, but Kevster just too clean with it. And now we're going to see our first timeout coming through for William & Mary of this series, as 2 rounds just went the other way. And you have to think that, considering how there was a bit of a struggle by coming through for the side of Delaware, that could have been a great opportunity to just reset your opponents and start carrying the game forward.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the result of this timeout is. I mean, William & Mary, if I'm sitting there in their ears right now and having a chat, really going back to what we saw on Lotus might be the sauce for them. Really clear commitments to these site takes, and they've been met with some resistance. And by that, I mean, when Delaware is landing shots, it almost becomes like the utility and their positioning is secondary. At the end of the day, it's coming down to really clean gunfights and keeping some of the critical members alive for the long run, right? Losing your Omen off the rip on a site retake is not a fun time. Losing your KJ on a site retake, not a fun time. Those are two, and even the Sova for that matter, I think are very important on this map. It's about being smart and positioning yourself for success well ahead of the site takes coming your way.
Yeah, and with Haven being a 3-site map, that information is just so crucial. and your agents that can really pick it up for you. That KJ with the turret, it's not your traditional information, but can certainly say no one's sitting here, as we are going to see a bit of a scrappy buy coming through for the side of William and Mary. Whereas on the other side for Delaware, they finally got another good gun round put together as Lucas able to spray through the door and shut down Square. One of the rifles already gone.
Yeah, it looks like we're resorting back to that pistol round flank situation there. You can see Omen, Jet, and Flo coming on the backside of things, and that's the icing on the cake here for them. They've kept those critical people alive, those critical players alive, and they also have hopefully some weaponry to back up this retake as well, which is a stark contrast to the pistol round that we saw just earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the one thing. If your Jet dies and gives you the sight, that's great use of space. We've got players behind Feint and SHK. This is such a tough angle, and walking up with your knife out just doesn't quite work. And the flank is all for naught. That extra buy doesn't work out. And all Unique's got is a Sheriff, and now doesn't even have a head after Lucas cuts that away, and it's a flawless for Delaware.
In this series, J-Turbo, timeouts have been as much of a strategy conversation as a momentum shift approach too. Oddly enough, like I feel like in this case for Delaware, they're able to just, you know, cut William and Mary's energy. Like they pick up one or two, start to instill a little bit of their presence in the matchup, and then with the timeout on top of it, and they kind of reset and recalibrate, they come in with a fresh approach, and they're able to get those critical rounds to earn them at least something comfortable for the first half. Yes, they're not going to turn around and perhaps take it 9-3 with how good William and Mary's been playing, but at least they're getting their feet wet nice and early in the series.
There they are.
Already we're seeing this fight for A being attempted. As there's a read. Seems William and Mary want to go towards A side. They've got all 5 members stacked up, as we've got plenty of players for the other side just waiting up. As the Hunter's Fury used right away, Harissa gets Feint, and now Unique finally gets a bit of a tag, gets some information. There's members lurking down short. Shock Dart doesn't find anything, but it seems the situation is sort of swapped, where the attackers are on site, the defenders are trying to make their way back in, and with Unique going down and Square shutting down Cosmic, it's suddenly still a 3v3. The spike does go down. Lucas potentially being the next point of contact, but Square already up to 3, potentially working on an ace. That aftershock, try and clear a little bit of space. Square forward, Goyanji prevents anything else, but Rai gets the round. And finally, after 3 in a row, William and Mary get another on the board.
I kind of see Delaware just, you know, the term isn't respect or disrespect J-Turbo, but it kind of is. Like, they need to start really not respecting the space that William and Mary is continuing to take from them. You pointed out, right, that they've been kind of pushed away from sight, that they're in the fringes, having to work on a retake. Like, why do we have to do that? Why can't we just be super confident, work to hold an angle, land these critical shots, find opportunity, and stick to them? I think, again, let's respect the space to a certain extent, but also be dominant in where we're holding in the site that is rightfully ours for Delaware.
Yeah, I think that we're seeing a lot of confidence the other way from William and Mary, and Delaware just haven't been able to hold these angles when they're faced with a bunch of that utility in Square as well. We said that they were the difference maker last game, and this time as well, plenty of rounds really decided by that duelist.
A little bit of a peeky peek and some cut noise activity now happening here. William and Mary rotating back. Of course, they've got some good grass control and are just patiently waiting to reunite and hit this oh-so-familiar C site for us. KJ utility and a very, very swift jet setup there. I don't know if there's an op on the hands of Kevster, and yes, it is. Welcome to the firing range.
Ooh, and the range indeed. Kevster just gets one little adjustment, make it 2 as Square's shut down. Lucas takes down Fate on the flank, and Kevster showing that a jet with an op. Very, very scary indeed. And even though they give up sight, there's so many members here. This feels all but over, and Kevster gets another, almost got the quick scope. That would have been beautiful, but instead it's just one member down. The ops carried over, and now William and Mary got that extra variable to worry about in the operator.
Yeah, this Kevster mobility now is going to be critical. I would love to see Jet now adventure off towards A, maybe get an aggressive pick from grass into window with some support from somebody else to watch one of those 2 specific areas, alas. But The fluidity here of that op is, I think, going to be a great determining factor, and it's going to halt William and Mary completely in their tracks, J-Turbo. They're going to have to either invest a lot of utility or invest bodies to trade or just land the shot, all three of which are troublesome in their own way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like seeing that Kevster's continuing to move, and now we're finally seeing that B approach you were asking for, as Spike's already down so quick, but it's so telegraphed that Square gets shut down by the Hunter's Fury across the other side of the map, and now the lockdown to push everyone away.
Oh boy, what a fight there by Rye from above. Gonna get Lucas here, and Patience from Delaware now. Ooh! Nice shot. Kevster getting some footing in this round early on now. Great information from that Owl drone invested while the lockdown is still present. Gives a good trade opportunity as well. Now Delaware 3v2 retake for the site coming in. Goyanji's going to want to tap it, get some information. Rye is just swinging and winging it like it's no one's business. Down to that 1v1. Commit to the half, commit to the full. Nice little recon dart, and this is a problem for the breach. Not enough time to bring home the
she
ref.
got it. Oh no, 0.63. I thought she had it from the half, but you were completely right, Strive. Oh, that was a dance. And Rye, Rye, such a difference maker. Haven't seen too much of them this series, but I mean, the first kill on the entry, the extra time taken away, and Unique, of course, getting that last kill, forcing Goyanji to get off the stick. Oh, I'm still like reeling.
That was a lot in 20 seconds to absorb, wasn't it? Like it's a sensory overload. Imagine being in that position and having to fight for it. I mean, great stuff regardless. And Goyanji, just a stellar teammate, really good chemistry with fellow colleagues, and it's always a joy to watch how they're able to bring these rounds together. Still fighting though, Delaware, looking very, very strong. I'm so glad that they got their 4 rounds, much like they did on Lotus. It's just a matter of, can they keep working on this map and pecking away and at least warming up for the attack side?
Yeah, and that's, again, another point to watch, is Delaware is such a strong attacking team. We saw glimpses of it in the last game, but it felt like the lead was just a little too much for the side of William and Mary. They were just too close to those breakpoint rounds. Now, this is that decider if there's going to be the potential for an even half or just a one half from William and Mary. Kevster trying to get a little aggressive, running up already. And with that extra bit of utility, that's the next step. As one member already gone for the tribe, the plant's going to be attempted. Unique brings it back to even, and Kevster quickly trades it again. Now the retake's going to be attempted. Smoke's blocking a little timeout. SHK might just run into Kevster here. It's tight. Every second counts, as SHK is going to have to watch this. And Rye, once again, another big kill, gets traded out. And oh, the reaction just not quite there from SHK. It's all going to come down to Square, who's watching the wrong angle.
Beautiful. I mean, tough position to beat in the 3v1, but Delaware there, I love how they work together coming out of lobby, J-Turbo. Like that buddy system was exactly what the doctor had ordered for this team. And that is historically what works the best in retake scenarios, right? Solo pushes were a big problem for Delaware. Losing ones back and forth is not the approach that they had worked for them on Lotus. Where they found their stride was when they were patient, a little bit more put together, conserved utility, and did meaningful things with them. And that's the beauty of defense, is you are truly in control of your fate on the retake, and working together is what makes it sing the best.
Yeah, and I really do like that point you bring up about the retake and how it does come down to having those executes still in hand just from the opposite side of the site sometimes. Now we're seeing so many members just stacked up towards C. Harissa realizes how many members are moving over, and Square's got those knives out, and there's going to be no issue, at the very least, securing site and going for the plant.
Plant is now solidified. I was just waiting for that little ticker to kick on through here. Post-plant 5v5 J-Turbo. This is the fun stuff. This is what you and I as casters thrive and live off of, these intense retake moments.
Have to watch. There's more ultimates here for the side of William and Mary, and Square able to take advantage of Kevster's angle with the operator, using that judge, dropping a little bit of judgment. Is feint, uses the Spectre to great effect. Goyanji has the read, but Rye gets another kill, and just keeping the numbers advantage is the name of the game here for William and Mary. As they want a winning half, the Omens get traded, and feint gets the final kill. As we go to half number 2, William and Mary up 7-5.
How do you feel about that half, J Turbo? I am totally content with the results of that. Although it was very turbulent to start things off, it was a matter of pecking away, and Delaware able to put some great pieces together and play some really great setups on the retake. And they found their stride. They truly did. Built off of the fact, or ignoring the fact that Kevster just went ballistic and had an opportunity with the op. I think they managed to deal with the cards they were given really, really well.
Yeah, I think that is 5-7 is pretty good record after going 0-4 with those opening rounds. And I just love seeing the round score where you see 4 for one team, 3 for the other, and then just back and forth, showing just how close this half really was. And now this pistol, I think, could be a real tone decider, because if the side of William and Mary can take this to 8, that makes life real difficult as you're starting to look at some of those break points. On the other side, Delaware is able to get the pistol. It feels like it's all leading to an even game as Lucas gets the little pincer as they fairy feint into the meat grinder. Unique's going to try and get something started on the side. Goyanji's here, and that's the classic right click you hate to see sometimes. And Lucas as well at a garage with another. It's all up to square. Just a sheriff in hand. Already got one onto Harissa. Kevster is going to be the next one to look, or actually it was Lucas who loses his head. We see a second dash off of the reset, and the ghost will be enough in the jet-on-jet fight as Delaware get a big pistol to start things off.
Building on what you said, J Turbo, about Delaware being such a strong attack-sided team, 110% correct. I mean, off that site take, just how comfortable they were ducking into garage right away and fighting for space off of grass, knowing that rotates could have been coming through window and the spawn area. Just smart. I mean, why not take that space that is there for the taking and look to push out, like what we talked about, push your opponents to the fringes, keep them away from the spike as far as possible, and look for trades and opportunities as 2s and 3s versus, you know, in nasty spots on site through logs and at long, where it cannot get a lot of fun to deal with a retake.
Honestly, it is those little moments. Is seeing William and Mary go for a seaside stack and Delaware go to the opposite side as they're still playing this slow. And I will say William and Mary, having taken so much space out C, should have an idea of what's going on. And now with some bodies spotted, that's going to be the sign for the rest of Delaware to run onto site. And this should be spike taken pretty quick as feint falls. Oh, Lucas able to get one, looking for square as well. And that Bulldog bites back.
Unique here on the retake. Posted up with that breach. I'd love for someone to walk by those crosshairs, but given Delaware's numbers, I'd be playing it super safe, J Turbo. Ain't nobody going to go on a side quest here to try and get a pick.
No, I don't think so. I love this just very measured approach. They know they've got the better guns, and I honestly don't mind SHK and Unique just sitting back, probably just playing to get taken down by Spike so they can get full money. And yeah, that is just going to be the decision. Maybe a run in to see if there's anything else you can do, but that Spike's gone. No timing. And 7-7. Up on the board, so we're dead even after the pistols going into the gun round.
Beauty. Let's see how the gun round fares, though. That's where the real sauce is going to come together. Feint and Co. Feint should be able to buy up. I don't see no reason why not. Where's your head at, J Turbo? How are you feeling about this matchup right now? Do you think that we've got Delaware fully committed back in the game, being that strong attack-sided team, or is William and Mary just doing what they do best here, just kind of feeling things out, cooking a little bit, and looking to get back into the game here?
Strive, you know, I think that this is going to be where we can really tell, because it's going to be an extra test for Delaware, considering they've got, you know, a couple SMGs with this being, you know, their bonus. But the fact is they've got a Bulldog, they've got a Guardian. They can still make some of these longer angles work. Feint's going to have to not just get hit again with the same strategy, and it seems he's ready for it as Lucas goes down this time around, and Rye getting rid of Kevster means even though the space is taken, there's a numbers disadvantage, so gotta watch what those guns can do, and it seems this time Harissa just happy to fire away, and now looking on the wrong side as SHK gets a couple out of logs, and if they can keep 3 alive, that's a very successful bonus for the side of William and Mary, getting around back. And now Delaware is going to have a bye next time, and there'll be guns to answer it.
Clean work here from William and Mary. They're back in their happy place, I think, with that round especially. It's going to start to do what I guess it's an attacker you fear the most, right? You start to peck away at your investments and your long-term savings that you've worked so hard to earn. This is a critical round for Delaware if you look at it, right? They had 2 strong 1 and 2 pistols. They fell to the wrath of the buy, of course. This is their chance to now, like you said in the previous matchup, really where things are even and solidify your position in this matchup. If this starts going sideways, I'm just going to lean back and wait to see how it all unfolds in the grand scheme. What I do love, though, is that there's jets on both these two teams. And you know how those kunais, those blade storms can come into play in those most situations of need.
Yeah, we'll see. I didn't get a chance to spot the ult trackers, but oh, Feint getting that first kill. It does get traded back, but it slows down this approach, and Cosmic as well took another chunk of damage. Rise just waiting for the right time. They've been absolutely deadly peeking out of the smokes, but this time Goyanji's ready. I think if you went off the other side, maybe that's a different story, but numbers advantage for Delaware with Cosmic real low.
Lucas in garage for the 1 for the 2. That's a huge transition. Massive positioning there from Delaware. Again, J Turbo, the garage positioning has paid for itself tenfold. The one thing that William & Mary I don't think did as good of a job was holding that garage area on those takes, and Delaware's fighting for that space, and they're doing such a good job at holding it away.
Yeah, they're trying, and Lucas has just done such a good job of holding the option and making sure that if William & Mary get lazy, they're gonna get punished for it. You have to know that if you haven't cleared the angle in the past 30 seconds, there could be someone there. And with 4 guns carried over, this is gonna be building up that bank. And for the side of William & Mary, it's just a hard economic reset onto them after they invested quite a bit into that last round.
Absolutely. Now we start to put the pieces together of the situation. All is okay. My fears of the economic troubles for Delaware are completely wiped off the table. They're well-funded, well-secured. And for William & Mary, I'm just looking to see where are they going with this situation, right? Are they going to look to buy up and half buy to support this? Probably not. I can see Square is going to go most likely for the Orb Blade Storm, which is what I got my eyes peeled out for.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, I think that is a big piece to watch because that can help take away the lack of a buy, but Square punished looking for that orb. It seemed side of Delaware had the same read that we did, and that's going to mean 1 kill already off the table, and Kevster able to use that smoke fantastically. Unique just gets shut down. Lucas on the other side, short, able to get 1 as well, and even though this is a save, you at least want to get 1 back. And it doesn't seem like that'll even be possible with Feint making his way up heaven. I think has a sheriff in hand. Can potentially take a gun off of this team. Just a Spectre, actually, not even a sheriff. And yeah, just looking for an exit.
Even the exit's going to be a bit of a problem here, I think. Oh boy, down below that X-ray. Gun drop 1 for the 2, maybe. The idea was good.
Pistol fake flash. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
It just makes me chuckle.
Can't help it. I'm just looking here at I'm like grinning at the monitor. I'm like, imagine there was like
imagine.
more than 3 kills. Just imagine.
I mean, if you get 2 there, that's a nice chunk of damage dealt. Maybe you can get a 3rd if they rush it, and then the round gets scary. But we're gonna see guns in hand for everyone on William & Mary, and what I'm really looking at is Square with that operator.
Yes. Can we get some Square dubs on the table? Slower round though here for Delaware now, making some moves and good information gathered on that C, rather the lack of information that all is okay. Grouping up down towards lobby. Where do they go from here? I don't see that Jet in a position on C to add any value here, especially with the focus on this A site now. Rye, feeling frisky with a bit of an adventure down short, pays the price, and that's going to give that open door opportunity to Delaware to get on site here.
Yeah, it seemed like William & Mary, they saw the owl drone, so they assumed everyone was still over by C. But I think the fact that they saw the Jet, saw that there was probably an operator in their hand, made them think twice. And now already Feint doesn't need no operator, just a bit of a rifle up top as we see trades back and forth. But they're all working out for Delaware as they're punching their way into double digits.
Oh, Delaware. They are just sleeping yet semi-awake giants is really how I like to call them. Right? They have moments where it's just kind of close. You're like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden they just come out guns a-blazing. Really, really fun and dynamic team to watch. And the problem now is William and Mary are in that position. Yes, double digits is on the board. That's going to be a big hit to their approach, knowing that they're getting close to that teetering point, but they are super duper broke, J-Turbo. It's going to be very, very hard to get their foot back in it, but the 2-round deficit makes it so doable and appetizing for them.
Yeah, I mean, this makes it possible, and as you're saying, if they can bring this back, bring it within one, take away those guns, maybe get some upgrades of their own, makes life that much easier. As Lucas just gonna spray it away, and those kunais are gone, but there's a rifle upgrade here, and that might be the start of the walk back. There's a lockdown. I feel like the second you hear the plant going down, you have to just commit it. As now we're going to see it finally dropped. Feint already rushing over, and this is dangerous. You can't just run into a smoke when you know they're trying to run back to garage to get rid of your util. As the paranoia does plenty, Unique brings it back to a 1v1, and suddenly this could just be a battle of who gets the headshot. Is Unique not sure whether it's Cubby or straight long, realizes it's Cubby, might have one more tap. Drops that extra piece. 2 bullets in the chamber, just a couple chances. Is going to try and stick to half. Does get it there, but Kevster gets the kill.
Got to keep it clutch for Delaware. Got to keep everything light on their toes. And looking at the X's on the map, I mean, there was a massive amount of action towards spawn there. Not the Delaware approach on C that we've come to love and see, especially with how they play that, the depths of long especially. But hey, at the end of the day, the clutch is all that matters. Off we go here. The light buy now has yielded some positivity in the sense that they can get some weapons. They're missing the full armor portion, and most likely some utility as well is going to be suffering, which makes it a little bit harder to set up. And you can see, I'm just watching to see, do we have the full KJ gamut available? Mostly. So I think they have some good information on C, but other than that, I don't know. Going to be tough here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that they were lacking the alarm buff. There it is, dropped instead. It's already a bit of damage from the nades. Kevster just trying to spray away. Doesn't realize exactly what's going on, but Rye instead just taken down 2. And that's a great start. Kunai's popped out to turn this one around. Feint looking the wrong way, or actually just the exact right way. Another spray, another prey, and it seems William and Mary are keeping themselves alive. 2v1, the Hunter's Fury is used, and Cosmic's position is confirmed. Still have the spike, swaps over for a little bit more ammo. There's the dash up, and Cosmic with the killer 1-tap. Now the recon bolt might just give that extra piece of information, unless Cosmic clutches up. What was that?
Ballistic is what it was. Some days I wish we could go back and just watch replays, but all's okay. Y'all can rewind and figure it out in the post-production of this series. Nuts. I mean, Cosmic, Ballistic on a whole different level. Delaware on 55 cylinders, they're firing away. And look at the ultimates too to back it up now here, J-Turbo. Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury. I mean, you're going to be met with an onslaught here on this attack take, which is panning out to be hopefully the final round for the win.
Yeah, it seems like it's all leading that way for Delaware. As that last round, I think, was William and Mary's best chance to try and really properly bring it back. They had the numbers, they had the opportunities, but just couldn't quite get past Cosmic.
Shadows traveling.
Ooh, this is quiet. This is slippery here. Rye posted up on an aggressive post. Posted up on an aggressive position on an aggressive post. Rye's got to come in big here, J-Turbo. There's got to be more than one. He's so big.
Kevster knows it's possible and realizes it! And Rye just gets shut down. I'm not sure how many members were spotted, but that's pulling the rotates as necessary. Kevster still doing the due diligence, and that might just give enough time for the rest of the team, but maybe not. They're not sold on it quite yet.
You should run.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's moments like that, positions like that are make or break. Like, had we gotten 1 or 2 kills, I think we'd have a whole different approach, but so aware from Delaware to actually hard clear that angle and do it as patiently as they did. And now here's that onslaught of ultimates that we talked about, right? The lockdown is 1. They got a Hunter's Fury. Here's the Rolling Thunder. Oh my goodness, it's gonna get nasty.
Rolling Thunder be Rolling Thunder, and now Square's just stuck on site, somehow stays alive due to SHK, the Guardian Angel up top. Unique rushes up, and that's going to be another good kill. Numbers advantage still here, but inferior weaponry in hand. There's going to be 1 tap, and that's going to pull out the last ultimate that's really combat useful in the Hunter's Fury. As Kevster gets shut down by SHK, a huge performance out of the Breach so far. now Square just taking the right side, and the stick went through, even though an extra kill goes down in the aftermath. And William and Mary still alive.
We got it. We're in it for the long haul here, J Turbo, and this just keeps getting better and better. By the way, I thought the last series was spicy. This is panning out to be far more. OT is very much on the table, without a doubt. How they play out these next couple rounds, I think Delaware's got to go back to their traditional C take. They've been so good on that site and they've been so much in control of the garage area that when they've gotten in, they've had no problems on the post plan.
Flash out.
Oh, and that's differences again. My blood is just boiling right now. My heart is pounding, as I'm sure so is Restitution. Square still not spotted, but you can't give that much time to someone like Kevster to look around. And Square a little greedy, trying to make that
Spike
moment,
planted.
and instead, it seems this might
One
be
enemy
it.
remaining.
As that's going to be Unique
Flawless.
gone, and Rye goes as
Attackers
well.
win.
It's a flawless to end it, and Delaware are taking us to map 3.
It's a constant, situation of surprises in this series for me. Delaware are very much in control of the map that they selected. Haven was their comfort place. They didn't do as great on Lotus, and rightfully so, it wasn't their pick. But now getting into our third map, the Decider, J Turbo, how do you feel about that matchup? Do you feel that there was one deciding factor, or was there multiple things that went wrong there for William and Mary that unfortunately turned that map over?
I don't know. I didn't see any exact moment. It felt like there were a couple rounds that they weren't giving the complete rotation respect to Delaware, where maybe they walked into a spot and didn't clear every single angle. There were just a couple small moments where maybe there could have been a little more coordination on the retake, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and we're going to map 3. It's going to be split, and we'll see who takes it after a quick break. welcome back as we've got map 3 for Delaware up against William and Mary. And we just saw, again, Delaware taking the last one on Haven, William and Mary taking the first on Lotus, and now we're finally getting some changes. No 3-site map this time. We're headed to Split.
Yeah, Split in itself too, J-Turbo, a really intricate and fun map to watch. Very complex in nature. The mid area has historically been a very tricky and treacherous choke point that can, much like you said on Haven, be a funnel into two different sites, right? Where B is that opportunity to hit the links. Mid here is a critical, important area that we're going to see, I believe we're going to see a lot of fight for. Let's see how the agent selection, though, goes and who's playing into what. We were talking, or you briefly mentioned on off desk there, Square on the Rays is a great pick to see, and indeed that is the case. I like to see the Cypher, an agent that belongs in this map very much so. And the Initiators and what's looking like the Smokers are pretty much the same, at least up to this point.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see probably pretty similar compositions. Really looking forward to seeing the Square versus either Cosmic or Kevster matchup in the Duelists, but also seeing SHK swapping over to the Cypher as opposed to the Initiators that they've been on so far. I think that's going to be some fun changes, but the one I'm most interested in is this is the first time this series we're seeing Delaware start on a tax drive.
Yeah, going to be really fun and different to see if that's their strong point here, if that's going to be the catalyst for their success early on in these matchups. They've struggled, right? But the one thing with Delaware is they do pick up momentum and steam really well, and once they start to figure out their opponent's play style and what they like to lean into, they do make micro adjustments to address them, it seems like. So nothing ever is really able to slip through the hands of Delaware. We'll just see if Split's a very common theme where they can continue with that same type of approach.
Yeah, it seems like Delaware have been able to find answers. In the first one, it felt like those answers just came too late from the lead that had been put together from the side of William and Mary. But yeah, I'm just so excited seeing Square on this Raze again, because they had so many opportunities and so many moments on Lotus where being on that agent, having the explosive potential, just changed everything for the squad of William and Mary.
Exciting times ahead. Let's see how this map works out. I get to finally, yeah, you said it well. It's not a 3-sided map, so we get to look at something completely fresh and different in terms of layout. We'll see how they like to play these pistols and where things like to go. And immediately right off the rip here, J-Turbo, look at B. There's a whole caboose of defenders ready to push on through there, whereas on the opposing end of the spectrum, looks like A is the focus. William and Mary's Cypher is about to get a workout by the appearance of the mini-map.
Yeah, or maybe this is just going to be an information play for retake, as it seems on the other side, William and Mary trying to get as much information out of B as possible. And yeah, once they noticed main is clear, they're hearing some util drop towards A. It's the straight rush around for the tribe. And now we'll see if we're going to have much going on. And it's going to be SHK getting that first kill onto Harissa. And that's a huge one, as its spike dropped as well. Makes this extra dangerous for Cosmic to wrap around and get back behind sight. The rest of the team for William and Mary is here. They've got that numbers advantage, but I don't think they realize Goyanji's right behind, as Cosmic and Lucas each get a couple of kills and completely flip this round on its head, as the attackers finally able to even things out. And now it's all up to the Duelist, and it's going to be Square falling and Delaware getting round 1.
Yeah, clean stuff there, top to bottom for Delaware. That was great. They picked a lot of really good fights. They held clean, tidy angles, not exposing themselves to Heaven's spawn, or not, sorry, Heaven ramp and screens all at the same time. You know what I mean, J-Turbo? You got to be really selective here on this map. It's very open, yet very tight corner, which can lean into different approaches on the post plants regardless. Let's see if William and Mary can pull something magic together. I see Square picking up a Bucky, which always makes my my teeth chatter, but post it in. Double satchel Bucky, perhaps? Question mark, question mark?
I think it's definitely a possibility, but does want to make sure there's players on the other side of that, as we're going to see SHK does get spotted by the dog, quickly sprayed down, but not after dealing a decent amount to Cosmic. Will get healed right back on up. So we're going to see that weapons disadvantage really come into play on the retake.
Goyanji forced off there into elbow for the time being. A good little bit of information, hopefully. Actually, I didn't hear the ping go off, so the bird doesn't get much here. Double satchel in for the friendly Square. I heard the one pump of the Bucky, but Goyanji goes for the kill. Lucas holding the ranges. Rai going to be able to pick up that Guardian, hopefully. takes some damage on the crosshair, but Delaware now in a 4v2. Make that a 4v1 scenario. Down to Rye, a jiggle and a peek, and a classic is all that it takes there to get Delaware their second round.
Yeah, very, very well done by Delaware. Only losing one, so that's got to feel pretty good for the economy. 3 Spectres and a Guardian carried over, and with that rifle being the most important piece. Lucas only going to invest in a Sheriff here. That checks, especially being on the Cypher. You don't need too much. You can really play that 5th man sort of in the team where you're getting that information. You're just trying to play the lurk, or gonna pick up a gun off of one of your teammates. Is on the other side, we're seeing what looks to be our first real presence into mid from Delaware.
Yeah, this is where my marbles are at here on this map, right? Fighting for mid control, especially down through mail and vents, gives you a lot of opportunity, and especially keeps the defense very fluid, right? They can't leave it exposed. And remember, there's a time in the day, J Turbo, when Viper was super viable on this map and was played a lot, especially for mid control. But long gone is that meta. We're just kind of here baking cookies with the usual run of agents that we've come to love and see.
Yeah, the fact that the double initiator, just due to how narrow these attack lines can be, instead of cutting them off, they'd rather just blow them open, and Cosmic already blowing open one of those initiators with the nade. Square unable to do much with the Judge, and suddenly it's a 3v5.
Yeah, this is troublesome for William and Mary at this point. Not a lot of information, minus the fact that everyone just ran through vents, forced to be in a very precarious angle, fighting for it, and rightfully so. You don't want to be playing the passive post and getting swung on. Equalizing is the objective, but you got Cosmic just running it down there, clearing out with paint shells with the crosshair, and Delaware solidify yet another round.
Man, and that's a flawless on their bonus. So you see them just like basically double bonus, take all those Spectres and turn them into Phantoms. Absolutely huge for the side of Delaware. And for William and Mary, it felt like there were a bunch of moments that their duels just got away from them, where it was just a little bit quicker from the Blue Hens.
Where are the marbles at, J Turbo? Running out of fumes. I got, you know what, part of me is saying, just give me that timeout now so we can kind of reset that momentum and get William and Mary back into the mix, right? Timeouts have been a talking point for you and I. Big A commit here, though, coming out from Delaware. Trailblazer goes in as well. A little bit of a cage to block off the ramp here. It gives Cosmic an orb, and that's the showstopper online now, and some more opportunity for Delaware to take a site.
Oh, that's such a good fight. Just, again, not losing anyone, but using your utility to secure that huge ultimate. And now Rye does have a Sheriff, is in an off angle that opponents might not expect. I think this is a point to watch out for, as does spot so many members. Finally gets one. Flash enables a second, and Rye able to really be that difference maker so far, but it doesn't matter when Kevster's killing it on the front lines, and Feint's gonna try and get a couple stray shots with the classic, but overall, it's just a little bit of damage dealt.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot of it. It's not what I want to hear out of your mouth there, J Turbo, but it's all good. Down to the 1v4 situation. Feint out in heaven does have a Marshall in hand, but it's easy pickings here for Kevster along with the rest of Delaware. They've been doing a really good job, by the way, on their rounds of keeping so many numbers alive, right? And that's really continuing to feed their economy. You can see 4 members now, over 6K more or less after buying our 3 members, which is just really, really nice for them in the long run of this first half.
Yeah, I mean, they had, what was it, a flawless or near flawless round 3? What was with their bonus, which is really unheard of, especially on split with how long so many of these sightlines are. It's so difficult to get enough value out of those Spectres. And I think this is the point where you brought up the timeouts for last round. I think right here, you have a gun round coming through. This is where you want to make sure everyone's on the same page, as instead it's just going to be another setup. And now that flashpoint might be a little bit done, does take down Harissa, and somehow Feint stays alive.
Magic here, Cosmic. Hey, we'll take the trade. Happy times there. At least that showstopper does get something for him. This is that mid control, the vents control coming into play now for Delaware. Quick trades there for Square as well now. Spike's in a position that is semi-recoverable, but you can see how well positioned William and Mary is to contest and even fast rotate out with that Omen and Spawn.
Yeah, and this is, again, really difficult to try and make it back over to vents or clear out your own site. There's so much unknown information about your opponents. Of course, if they could see the minimap, we'd see just a nice little rotate through vents. But now I think for the side of William and Mary, that might be second guessing themselves if the spike is still here. Waiting for that first peek, and Lucas gets the kill, brings this to a 2v2. That's not what you want to do when you've got the numbers advantage. Somehow they thread the tripwires. And SHK gonna make this a difficult site to play. Goyanji just wants this crossfire, doesn't care about anything else. There's the paranoia, but they're peeking the right angle, because SHK is gonna get neural theft of their own. This is gonna reveal exactly where Lucas is trying to hide. The numbers advantage is back for William and Mary, and with that headshot going wide, it might just be it. Never mind, Lucas, you demon!
Lucas's crosshair placement, starting with that opening pick in heaven, was just mint to begin with, and the patience as well to line up that shot, being the one in control, right, and commanding that angle. Then the second two at elbow were just textbook. I mean, they gave ones, and when they were doubled up in elbow, by the way, Jay Timber, I was like, oh, this is great. They're going to double swing this. This should be an easy clapping. But no, instead they fed it, and that's not what you want to do here, especially against Lucas. And the high wire that was set up there for SHK coming out of ramp became completely useless. It just didn't gain any sort of value, and that might cause Cypher to have to reevaluate the position, especially on that A site.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, Rise already pushed away by the paranoia. Just has to run away. Going to be pushed even further back from the paint shells. We're going to see this Seekers, the satchel used, just all racing into sight. SHK all alone. The rest of the team still trying to trace their way back, and SHK is already out from Harissa. Rye might try to get the trade back, and instead it's going to be Square getting that opening kill, and I think that's a big start, but Lucas once again on the back lines, making this one very, very tough, as we're going to see a second set of Seekers potentially sent out by Unique, and that's going to give away these positions. Rye looks for that first duel. Paranoia is decent, but the cage keeps them all hidden, and Lucas, Harissa, they keep cleaning up. It's all up to Unique, and there's nothing but Cosmic's headshots. Is that 6 already?
There's something feeling a little bit disconnected about the defense of William and Mary J Turbo. I don't know if you sensed it as much as I do, but it feels like on the retake, there isn't a very clearly defined cohesiveness. We're seeing a lot of ones and funneling activity happening again without swings that we saw that were so nice to watch, particularly on that map number 1 of Lotus. It's just a complete different team, and it doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel well rehearsed as we've come to love and appreciate from this team on defense.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a question of if Split's a map that there really is practiced on, whereas for Delaware, this feels like it's just straight in their wheelhouse. So that's a nice trade out of ramp with the inferior weaponry for Fate, but Goyanji brings it back to the advantage. And now Lucas, another neural theft, only 6 ult points. It charges up so quickly, especially with the performances that Lucas has been having so far. This just makes life so difficult for the defense trying to rotate over. And yeah, they spot a couple members, and Feint actually getting Goyanji did look decent, but Lucas snatching it back.
Yeah, Unique's here on that mid flank, which is going to be really fun to see, but they've historically struggled coming out of heaven as well here. SHK going to get the 1 to equalize, does pick up a gun, and they're in a great position to work as a duo now to retake on back through. Kevster on the rafters and some support from down below on the pillar end of things. I think is a great crossfire setup for Delaware as well.
Finally needs that cage for Garage, but there's no one sitting there, as Unique does know where the last member's standing and is able to take the first round for William and Mary, and that has got to feel good, but boy, was it expensive.
Yeah, very expensive, very turbulent, nothing but difficult seas to get to this point, but we're still making it across the ocean. Slow and steady here. The winds are picking up. William and Mary is hopefully looking to get that momentum behind them and get their sails on the go. You can see the buys are coming in as well, which is beyond great. It's happy times here on the first half for them. Again, we're not looking to reinvent the wheel here and go even neck to neck. It's just about fending for yourself and giving you some cushion to work with on that second half. And 2 to 3 rounds, even 4 would be great for the Pickens.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think if they can bring it to 4, maybe 5, that'd be huge. But considering how strong Delaware has looked in so many of these rounds, not sure if that's going to be possible. But I like this initial aggression out of B is Delaware has started to slow down their approaches, and William and Mary recognizing there's potential to take some space.
Yeah, this push out of B, though, is kind of nasty. I'm fairly confident that Cypher heard the movement now and should be able to get a flank in as well. You can see the pinch as well through sewers from that breach. Yeah, here's that Goyanji setup. Oh, no, Square comes out on top, but luckily the trade is there. Damage done, though. Goyanji should not have happened the way that it did. That's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, but now we're going to see the teleport the other way. I think Of course, if they had more information, could have gone straight to site, but now we're just getting a couple trades back and forth. But with that advanced push, it means you've given up the B site, and since Square fell, it means there's no one quite ready to respond.
No, not quite yet here. Plant
Spike
going down
planted.
as well. Where do we go? Where do we land here, J-Turbo? Who's gonna make that first move onto this retake? Feint, aftershock to clear out the corner, force the peek, and that's a great little look as well towards back sight. One of 3 major choke points eliminated now. Doubled up towards B main is going to be nice, but paint shells force some separation. Lucas does get the one to equalize.
Last player standing.
Oh, and now we're going to see the
One
fault
enemy
line
remaining.
used, try and buy some space. It's all up to Rye, taps it again, trying to bait out Lucas, and it does get the fight, as that's 2 in a row now for William and Mary, and expensive again, but you'll take it for that round on the board.
Yeah, all day, every day. You'll love to see it. They're pecking away at it here, J-Turbo. There's life within this team, and that's what we saw even on Lotus. You got to give them props for their tenacity. And what's remarkable to me is they're making these micro adjustments and tuning themselves to Delaware all live during the game. We haven't seen any timeouts yet, so it's the small changes that count for the long run here.
And I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen any adjustments and timeouts, especially. I mean, not adjustments. Of course, we've seen adjustments. I mean, timeouts coming through for the side of William and Mary, but it seems they really haven't needed it since that round went up. They've been able to adjust the play, force Delaware to have to start thinking again and not just running and gunning. We're finally seeing some of that mid-contest that I think you and I have really been waiting for.
Trailblazer as well. Get some mid information. Really patient setup here from Delaware, however. I like this double flash push. Look at the swing. You like to see it. That's the confidence you want to instill in yourselves when you want to take a mid look like that. But Cosmic very quickly shuts it down. We'll take it, though. The damage is done off that raise as well, which is going to hopefully do wonders for them as soon as that showstopper comes out. Or if it does this round, Galactical peak from Feint as well. William and Mary alive as can be.
Yeah, but that was so close. I mean, the flash was even there on the other side, and still is that close. Cosmic still low from that earlier engaged mid. Does have the showstopper, does have some paint shells, and that's what I'm especially looking at, if that util will
30
be the
seconds
difference
left.
maker. But so far, it seems the squad is just trying to clear out their angles, knowing how tight this can be, and the stun forces out some steps, forces out some util. Now the other side knows exactly where the blue hens are. The double satchel doesn't do much. First kick hit, and somehow Cosmic's alive with just one, and SHK and Feint finally close the trap and get a third on the board.
The approach from William and Mary on that round was very much, I'll say, proactive defense, right? Holding the angles that are that need to be held, and looking to get some pop shots off. Do something, right? The worst that has happened in this matchup for William and Mary has been just what we talked about, respecting of positions and sites as they are. When Delaware gets space, they have no problem taking it, holding it, and running away with it. Where William and Mary has found successes when they put their crosshair in the right neighborhood and are able to connect on a pick as the site take is occurring. Kind of a common sense statement here, J-Turbo, but you get my flow, right? The confidence needs to be there, and it's coming to life for William and Mary round by round.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fact that you're not giving Delaware these full 5-man executes, that you're forcing them to have to take a step back after losing 2 members and reapproach the round. Now we're seeing that showstopper not find much, just a little bit of space, but already SHK makes great use of it, and that's going to be the neural theft online as well. Gets a second through the smokes due to that little computer, and Delaware don't have an answer. It's just coming all the way around the back. Lucas will take that one down. We'll see a couple taps the other way for Harissa to get rid of the other cabbage, but woo, good start.
Huge start, actually. And Delaware, I think, are feeling a little bit of the pressure now, right? When the numbers start to dwindle in the first 15, 20 seconds, J-Turbo, you're like, oh boy, this just got substantially harder for us. We've lost numbers, we've lost map control, and the Seekers now have officially declared where we are. At this point, if you're William and Mary, I'm kind of shocked that we didn't see Omen push out just a little bit farther on B, perhaps, but I guess respecting B main and mid is the objective here.
30 seconds
I'll
left.
keep my opinions to myself. TM, not going to get into it, but let's see how, with 26 on the clock, a spike in hand, and nothing but a neural theft, not too much you can do as a duo of an Omen and a Cypher.
Yeah, and I like this patience and respect from Delaware. They're just taking the save. And same on the other side from William and Mary. They finally got a chance to build their
10
economy
seconds
for these
left.
last couple rounds and give themselves a great launching point to try and even this game up. And this is, I think, just the best call you could make for either team after that just fantastic hold coming through from the A-site members of William and Mary.
100%. I'm a huge fan of the save. We didn't see too much of that, by the way, in the previous two maps. It was a lot of commitment to playing out the round to its fullest, right to the death of it all. But for William and Mary, 4 consecutive on that board, economy immensely strong. Goyanji hemorrhaging dollars and cents, which is not going to be the greatest of all situations. But the caveat is the Rolling Thunder is available as well for Delaware. Whereas William and Mary, they got square 2 pips away and 3 pips on the Seekers. It's not necessarily attainable in this particular round. So for Delaware, this could be for the taken and for the long haul.
Yeah, and this is a ton of noise being made mid. Delaware very happy to let their presence be known, but it's also going to mean this will be a pretty strong response unless they're all stunned away as the satchel used to try and get out of dodge after the initial paint shells do some damage, and Cosmic's just flashed out, can't see a thing. And oh, this is so difficult as Delaware just walked into a meat grinder.
It's again the same conversation there, J Turbo. So much utility was invested in Male, but what William and Mary did differently is they didn't care to respect the desire for space, right? Delaware invested utility that would typically push you away, but William and Mary said, hey, I see an opportunity. Fate went for the wide swing, and I don't think it was necessarily expected from Delaware's side of the setup. And the yield was 2 kills, and there was also trade potential available in Male if we did see the loss of that breach. Just great plays here out of the defenders.
Yeah, fantastic play so far. And Delaware still keeping this one competitive. Goyanji with that Bulldog, able to get 1. And with the plant coming down, thought it could have been 2 off of Harissa, but Ware steps in. Oh, accidentally locked forward and takes the wrong angle. And that got tight at the end for Goyanji, but Feint finally gets that kill. And that's 5 in a row. Are we just going to see a split 6-6? I mean, that would be very fitting of the name, right?
It truly would be, first of all. And second of all, it would silence me with my comments that I made earlier about just looking to build a cushion for the second half. William and Mary are not only building a cushion, they've got an entire, bed here, a king-size bed to land on if things go completely sideways for them. Just stellar showing up of the team as a whole. But most importantly here, J Turbo, look at the difference when you're an active defender, when you're looking for opportunity in space and looking to fight for major control points, right? Like Male, like Mid, which have at least in this matchup and historically on Split been the catalyst for relatively simple site takes for the attackers and execution.
Yeah. And this is that final chance for Delaware to try and secure themselves a winning half. All looked so good at the start, like they could not be stopped. But as you were saying, the confidence coming through for the Tribe has given them quite a lot of opportunities, as Cosmic going to take a little bit of damage from Square. And now we're going to see the Seekers start to run down, and that's going to be a nice little showstopper as Unique gets a second onto Lucas. The Boombot's in, everyone's around, as this is just a very sus position in the vents, and Square's going to grab Harissa. Goyanji's just stuck with Cosmic, and now they know they're in a box. There's nothing they can do with Spike already stolen away. We see the Rolling Thunder used, and actually Goyanji getting 2 without even using the Rolling Thunder of her own. This suddenly got interesting.
Very much so. Delaware could have avoided a lot of that pain and struggles by not trying to stick a 20-inch pipe inside of a 3-inch hole here. Like, at the end of the day, they were just so committed to that vents area, and I think lost a lot of bodies unnecessarily. But on the flip side, it felt like William and Mary just kind of succumbed to that same type of play. Rye gets the final pick. We'll take it. We'll run with it. But Delaware let a lot of water through some very, very sealable and patchable holes in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, and we do get the perfectly split map. Like, it's perfectly even. Just look at that. 6 rounds up for Delaware, 6 rounds back for William and Mary. And now we go to the pistol. And I think this could be a real tone setter because it's an opportunity for Delaware to reset the momentum. And it's also an opportunity for William and Mary to just keep running.
It's the opportunity for anything to happen, J Turbo, because 6-6 is literally, like you said, even. Like, this is, it might as well be 0-0. Like, we could go back to first half minus a swap. You know what I mean? Just really, really crazy third map here, nonetheless. at the end of the day, we get to watch the evenness kind of play into the mentals, perhaps a little bit more, right? Some freedom to play to your roots, knowing that you have teams are in the running in this particular matchup.
Yeah, and it also makes it all the more exciting for us as viewers, casters, spectators, whatever word you want to use, is now we're finally going to see that approach come on in, and it's going to be the quick race forward for Square, and Lucas shutting down Feint, who's been the real standout for William & Mary so far. It's going to be the plant actually just committed through from Rye, and Unique now using this vent position to try and get some more damage, but just doesn't have enough bullets. SHK able to bring it on back, and this is just an insane trade back and forth up in heaven, but it's Delaware who are winning, and it's Delaware who are defusing, and it's Delaware with another pistol.
Beauty. I mean, they're just looking so much stronger after picking up their early momentum in that first half. Just a different team, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what kind of mood juice they drank there at half or after that second match, but whatever it is, I want some of it.
This goes here.
Yes, honestly, it seemed like they did sort of level up going into that one, but it is still early, right? This is still how we saw the first half begin, and we know how that went. So I'm gonna hold for a minute until we get to the gun rounds, really see exactly how these teams approach the opposite sides of the map, as we're gonna see a bit of a 5-man rush coming through from the tribe.
Bring home the funnels. Off we go inside here. Square earning that space. Big flashpoint as well. Going to gain some more information as to what's happening in the back end as the footsteps come out. Cosmic does get the one. SHK, quick trade there, but Harissa is in the running. This one-way smoke. Got to be careful, but Rye, low HP on the corner. Good patience. Good clarity from Delaware. Just well executed, and they get away with that round. 4 members heavy.
And I'm getting a little deja vu. We saw another 4-man carryover bonus. And now we could see, potentially again, that very, very clean upgrades setup for Delaware. But this time, they're not the ones attacking. They're not the ones able to bring all of that pressure. They've just got Spectres on some long angles that they'll have to try and shorten.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Shortening that might start with some of these more precarious areas of the map, especially mid and male, but Delaware's got a huge investment on there. Doubled up in male, a single breach there on the vent area as well. Good recognition, though. I really appreciate this focus, knowing that those specific areas do permit quick rotate, so they can block up a major area and be fast to a site, depending on how things unfold in this match, or this round, rather.
And already a lot of information gained. The Cypher spotting the cam up ramp, and oh, Cosmic, okay, gets the trade right on back. That was crisp. And now, this is actually causing a bit of a drawback on the A site. Team members falling out of heaven and just trying to go straight up main. Now not sure exactly what to do, as it's still a 4v4, and Square realizing the site's pretty empty. And Unique, you got the spike. You got to make it over before the rest of the rotates come through, and there the plant finally coming down.
Spike planted.
Yeah, eyes peeled here for Delaware, though, people. Like, we got to be very cognizant of how this retake works out. They're being very meticulous on spawn, which I'm a huge fan of, but time's ticking with the spike planted now. They're going to have to clear out a large majority of heaven and ramp area to make it out successfully. Luckily, Lucas has got some information as to what's happening on the screens area, but the rest is all for easy picking. Square, nice pick as well. Super confident and doubled up in ramp here. They're going to have to deal with this raise before they can get on that fight.
Oh, and Square coming back to form. Was pretty quiet in the first half, but this time around, oh, that paint shell's maybe just a little too ambitious going for that one. And SHK tip-tap, and finally on the third one is able to take down Kevster, as that's a good answer back and not giving away a bunch of guns like they did in the first half.
Nope, 100%. And this is, it seems that the theme of the rounds and the overall matches are very much, how do we put it, alike. Round to round, match to match, situation to situation. It's like I'm watching a mirror, especially in this particular split series. Coming now into what is the all big reset, the half buy for William & Mary. If they can make this round count, they're going to be much stronger coming out of the back end here. But this half armor is going to make it just a little bit harder, JJ.
Yeah, it really does look like that. I mean, both teams armed to the teeth, realizing that this is a potential breaking point. If you're William & Mary, you know, one more, you're dead even. You can keep this momentum moving forward with guns in your hand, and if you're Delaware, you can break your opponent's economy and potentially get that much closer to double digits and the series close. So we see several members just walking up mid from William & Mary, and Lucas gets that first kill right at a ramp, so not even spotting the main group, but realizing that there's going to be a lot less information available. Square keeping it slow, keeping it quiet.
Here.
Kevster just waiting around the
Camera
side and saw
taken
one toe, and now they know there's going to be a few extra members, but Square ready,
Ooh.
Unique, shut down
Right
Kevster
there.
off the fault line, and that's a beautiful take onto the A site.
Great read by William & Mary as well. Knowing that Delaware plays those long posts and is an active defending team, they hard cleared them, which is a great different approach at it. And now with this aggressive smoke blocking off spawn as well, Delaware are going to have a bit of a roadblock to get by. It starts with the paranoia, big pop flashing it from above, is going to blind off much of Delaware there and gives Unique an opportunity, not being tradable just yet, but they're okay with that. They're going to play the 3v2 with their strength. Square is an absolute monster at heaven, and they go so confidently out of screens as well, venturing up to the fringes to seal up that round with a 3-man advantage.
Oh, and that was just such an impactful pop flash that came through for Unique that just slowed everyone down. And then it gave time for Rise Paranoia to come across and give an extra kill over. It's those little moments that are so massive. And now William & Mary poised to take the lead, Strive.
Yep. Amazing push, by the way, out of them. You just look at that scoreboard and you think about the 6 consecutive and how they were able to turn the tides the way that they did and remain tenacious. 3 maps into a series, by the way, you got to give them props.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And for this William & Mary team, they are just playing so well, and Square all alone with so many members, eventually taken down. That's going to be an upgrade. Only goes 1 for 1 with all of those numbers. Now Lucas just firing away. Not able to find too much, as this is going to be the plant onto the B site.
That goes down. Recon Dart quickly annihilated. That's going to be one piece of the... Another Recon Dart. Sorry, camera. I'm in a different area code, Jake there. Forgive me. Here comes that showstopper, though. I got that one right. Cosmic leading the charge in. The Aftershock looking to zone things out. SHK taking an aggressive look at it. Does get traded out, though, very quickly.
Fact is, they're keeping it even, but the health bar is not favoring the Blue Hens so far, but the numbers are, as that's actually a Trailblazer kill to even things back up. Ride doing their best to keep this clock ticking, as Unique gets one more kill traded by Kevster. It's down to this final moment. Rise just dancing around heaven, and finally, actually, the kill comes through off the backside. And does Kevster have the defuse? It's gonna be close! And 0.28!
Next time. Make it easier.
I was about to say it again, J Turbo, like that map one. I'm like, doesn't have it, and it was a 0.6. 0.28 is bloody tight, my friend. That is a slippery defuse, but Delaware, it's a round 1 at the end of the day.
I'm still just like, oh, that was so tight. And I think if you're Rye there, you're like, oh, if I just jumped out quarter second later, you get the round. And
That's
it's in
what it
those
was.
moments. And it's in those moments that you just play it the best you can, and you hope that it's enough. And for Kevster, somehow it absolutely was.
Mega stuff now. And with that shift in focus from Delaware, see if they can continue to fend off William & Mary. A lot of ults though available, including that showstopper again, which there it is, active one more time. Fault line comes in. Square, just, you mentioned it, J Turbo, so mechanical, so fluid in the movement with that raise, and it's the catalyst for William & Mary's site. Takes time in and time out.
It really does feel like it.
Spike planted.
So now we're going to see the Seekers come through from the defense. Doesn't do much. Goyanji is going to get one over top. Kevster as well. So that actually makes this right
One
and
enemy
even.
remaining.
And there's actually a Rolling Thunder over top. I think if there was a little tighter timing between Goyanji and Kevster, could have been the difference maker, that one ultimate. But of course, there was the Rolling Thunder on the other side. Have to watch out for moments like that, and is going to be committed. William & Mary wanting every single round they can get, as that's going to be a fault line as well. Goyanji just stuck in this gray screen for ages. Does drop the flash, and Feint gets the kill.
Nice post plant setup. Great shadow step there as well from the Omen to reposition. And if you've got the Rolling Thunder, you might as well dump it into the mix there, J Turbo. It's getting down to the wire, and desperate times call for all measures in the firing book. So coming out of that round, Delaware, where did the first 6 rounds go, by the way? Like, how do we end up from a segue of 6 consecutive to this absolute bloodbath of William & Mary just punishing Delaware left, right, and center? it felt like nothing really changed all too much. It just feels like their defense is not all that it's panned out to be.
I mean, maybe, but we're still even, right? We were at 6-6, and then we saw
I got you.
the pistols go one way, a couple gun rounds go the other, and this is as even as you can get going forward. But I am right there with you. It does feel like there's these moments that William and Mary are able to put it together, and the fact is, sometimes Delaware just winning by the finest of margins, and now already on a save, getting that opening kill is going to be a great start, as it seemed like the other side picked the wrong one to approach, as there was just a pistol stack waiting for them, and now William and Mary just going to race over to B.
Here.
Yeah, great usage of vents, by the way, to press the eject button and run away. Unique there does have a gun in hand. I don't know if Delaware was able to pick up some odds and ends on the way out. You can see their Omen is still contemplating the rotate, but they got to go. The spikes can get planted. We got a solid, 8 to 12 second rotate before we get on that B site. It just leaves very minimal time left to deal with the retake, especially with this strong post plant setup of a Sky Omen combination to hold you off on the retake.
Yeah, and in this moment, Delaware, they're trying to do it right. They had to make sure they got the extra rifles. They want to make sure they were full of ammo, and now they're going to have the Rolling Thunder for their approach, and that could be what they absolutely need, as that gives away the location of 2. Teleport going to be used for a bit of a reset, and Unique, it seems, just going to be the sacrifice, but it worked out for the crossfire in a moment, but Goyanji is just too good, and she slams them down garage, and that's going to be Delaware pushing into double digits. I think these last 4 or 5 rounds have just been back, forth, back, forth.
Nail biters. I mean, complete and total nail biters. And as a caster trying to break things down and understand where the faults and holes are, it's darn near impossible, J Turbo. So again, for those that are tuning in and watching it, just appreciate the intricacies of how these rounds are panning out, how clean some of these shots and site takes are, and the umpteen number of combinations on post plants on site takes is what makes this match, this entire series, so electric and diverse, right? We're getting mismatch or mishmashes of the combinations between the Sky and the Omen playing on a post plant. We get the Rolling Thunders that are just complete shake and bakers. It's exhilarating to watch, and it really is, like you said, coming down to the wire.
Oh, and this is exactly how you want to see it. If you're a fan of either of these schools, really demonstrating for William and Mary that their struggles at the start, certainly not just because this is such a strong league. There's so many talented schools, and now that they finally got all cylinders firing, they can take it to the reigning champs and really compete with the best here at the end of the fall split. It's already William and Mary able to take the site without getting a single kill, even with the inferior weaponry, as Kevster's just going to charge right past the aftershock. And that's going to be a bit of a trade back and forth. Feint making use of that. Sheriff still a 4v4. That's when we're going to see the send down from Cosmic, trying to use that. But unfortunately, if you're a Delaware fan, it's all the tribe coming together. They've gotten trade after trade. And now it's SHK with the Ghost, and we're just having back-to-back thrifties.
I will say, J Turbo, just looking at this matchup as a whole, and maybe you feel it as much as I do. I said how the pace has kind of fizzled down. It felt kind of stale a little bit earlier. Now I truly feel that both these teams are matching each other's energy in terms of the pace of play and what they're looking to accomplish. The same way that space was fought for in male earlier on in the last half, you saw the same thing from William and Mary again with the squeak by. I believe that was Unique there coming out from heaven. Oh no, or sorry, Kevster as that Sky. Just these aggressive posts, the confidence and energy is there. It's just panning out to be that 10-10 round, or that 10-10 match that we're watching here. Look at it again. Energy, so vibrant here.
Just everyone racing forward. I'm not sure who got the better end of that. I think the aggression was the call for Delaware with the lesser weaponry, and now it's just a bloodbath back and forth. Square gets so many, and it is just the Cypher on the other side. Is Square and Feint going to try and set up this post plant?
Geez, set up the post plant, set up the artillery, set up the mine, set up everything you have in the arsenal here, William and Mary. A low HP, but showstopper equipped Raze. Breach up against the Cypher. Now Lucas on that flank has a myriad of weapon choices to pick up one. And does go with the Vandal here. Squeaking by. And this is William and Mary we're talking about. They know how to play a post plant. They know that they got to play together, especially in a low HP situation that you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, I completely agree. Fact is, Square goes down now that Lucas has a rifle. There's always that chance, but you can hear the rapid ticking as Lucas, I think, recognizes this is just going to be an econ play, and it doesn't even pan out. We finally see 2 in a row for one team, and it is William and Mary as they're now starting to threaten game point, series point, and Delaware need a timeout.
Delaware needs to come back to their roots one more time and just start hitting shots. Straight up. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you, J Turbo. Where they found their strengths was holding angles and hitting those shots where William and Mary are just aware of and hard clearing, right? You can see, as an example, 3 rounds ago, we saw the POV from the observer side of the heaven take on A, right? The difference was that Lucas was holding an active angle, landed the shot. Follow-up from William and Mary 2 rounds after that is that they actually were cognizant of the angles being held and actually went super deep to clear them, invested the smoke, held off that angle, and from there it was just clockwork. They were able to funnel in and pick up all those pieces and bring rounds together. That is where Delaware shines the best, is when they make those shots count before they get blocked off or choked away from a second look at William and Mary's crosshairs.
Yeah, I think definitely seeing some moments where Delaware is able to just hit their shots. I think that last round, it was just Square stepping up, landing their own, and I've been super impressed with Square able to step up in this second half. Really was pretty quiet in the first, but now found their way back to the top of the leaderboard. But also, I mean, Faint and Unique, everyone making a difference, everyone stepping up when necessary. And same on the other side, right? Cosmic and Lucas both having 20 bombs already as we're going into what could be a very deciding round. I think if Delaware doesn't win this, they don't have much of a bank. They don't have much else that they can really reach for. They've tried so many strats already. They've tried changing the pace. Right now, a little bit of pressure mid, as it's just a default from William and Mary.
Yeah, I like the pressure, though. It's forcing the investment of some utility early on as well. You see the Trailblazer went out. Going to make things a little bit less painful as the round progresses. Goyanji down in vent area, securing one of the most important choke points of this map, arguably, for William and Mary's rotative choice, or rotation point of choice, rather. As the action now panning out to be an A-take for William and Mary. Cypher, Lucas here, a stellar player. Has to come in big.
Yeah, right there, saw the dart go out early. Maybe that was an attempt to try and bait out the opponents, have them just start moving forward and be able to call the rotate, as that's ultimate's committed. That's the spike going down, and it seems that the rest of the team's still not convinced. I mean, the Omen does have a teleport, but Delaware, the game on the line, this is a moment where you've got to be able to bring everyone in. That's going to be a big flash on the Goyanji. We're seeing tons of util drop, the Rolling Thunder used, and Cosmic gets a second kill for Delaware as it's a 3v5. William and Mary trying to hold on as the onslaught comes forward from the blue hens, and Faint finally gets one back, and now there's one head peeking out. Rye not able to shut it down. Lucas and Kevster getting kills of their own, and Rye, the last one standing, sent away, and we're going to 11-11. And I think both of these teams are going to be wishing just for 2 more.
This is great, J Turbo. You know that saying, better late than never, right? That's Delaware's motto on the rotate, right? It takes a little bit to get going, right? They're not 100% sold on it, like you said, but when they are sold, boy, does it ever happen. And they hit some really clean shots on the way out, too, and getting onto that site retake. 11-11, like you said, posted up or panning out to be a very electric round. Keep your eyes peeled there. Goyanji, 2 pips away from an ult. Kevster very close as well, can get the Seekers to come out. And SHK on the Neural Theft is available, but everyone else on the opposing side is very, very far from a major impactful ultimate in terms of an entry. So for Delaware here, this is panning out to be a chance to pick up some orbs, maybe a kill or 2, and play a very soft and steady retake.
Oh, there's that chance. Keeping 3 mid, wanting to have, I think, that quick rotate potential if they control that space. On the other side, it is this lean towards A that we're seeing as several members already crossing. Not much vision confirmation, I don't think, coming through from Lucas, but this is drawing over an extra member. Tripwire goes down. Goyanji's caught on an angle. That's a huge kill to open things up for William and Mary. We're going to start seeing potentially some rotates. SHK, not sure what to do, but that Neural Theft is exactly what you need to do, and it gives away the position, realizes Lucas is all alone on site, and easy pickings for Square.
I mean, hindsight 2020, J Turbo, looking back to that late rotate coming up from Delaware the last round, they do that rightfully so because William & Mary has been very fluid, but this time with that kill getting solidified, you can see Square's aggression, they started rotating quite a bit ago, but it's all too little too late. The space has been earned and these attackers are so well situated, but Cosmic, a thing or two to say about it, on to Fate now. They have so much to clear though, which is just not great here in a 4v2.
I'd say the only silver lining for Delaware is how crunched up these players are, but Square already getting one more.
Yeah.
Can't quite get the ace. Harissa stepping up to try and make this round possible, but now just doesn't have many bullets, swaps to another gun for a few more, and will eventually go down, or actually just run away with the rifle to have a little extra firepower to try and force overtime. But we're going the full distance. We've got 20, we're into round 24,
Match point.
and this is as good as it gets.
This is prime time EGF here for those that are tuning in, and coming off to what is appearing to be the finish line. It's going to be a run across with flip-flops and sandals for some of the Delaware team members. You can see Stinger, Sheriff buying whatever they can. In the opposing end of it, William & Mary just bailed on the whole idea of rotating out and just straight up committed to the site take. And that's been the recipe for them, it seems, especially on this A side as they post up one more time again and take it.
This is what it all comes down to if we're going to see another A take. And another time where Delaware isn't adjusting their setup except for sending Lucas up to heaven. Maybe that's all the change they need to make. But it seems that William & Mary are content to keep just trying to get bits of information, find their way forward. No one on either team willing to overstep as we see a few flashes traded back and forth. Lots of utility starting to get traded out mid. That's the Seekers coming down, and the two that they catch are the ones in mid, so really not all that much active information gained. You're going to see, yeah, there's one ramp, but that's to be expected with this much time off the clock.
Yeah, this play from William & Mary, though, is really smart. This clock hitting the 40 ticker is going to force Delaware to late rotate or be slower to their rotate because the explosion is going to come out in about 10 seconds here. But unfortunately, it doesn't leave the attackers a lot of time to make a move. And Lucas, with this pick as well, getting aggressive onto SHK, nukes out the Cypher. So there goes your trips and gauges.
30
You're
seconds
exposed. Delaware here, this is their chance to collapse in. Oh, they even got the information off of it, too. Great stuff from Harissa.
Oh, absolutely massive. And we can see Goyanji, she's making sure no one's coming mid, and yeah, it's just everyone up and out of garage. Is there the spray? What's coming through? Delaware getting the kills initially. Rye can't get enough. Unique brings it close. Square's got to step up. It's 2v2, only 10 seconds to go as the spike's going to get committed. And this is so tight. Unique's got the Seekers. At the very least, they can see where players are going, but Lucas still able to get the Sky. I think we're going to overtime unless we see such a standout from Square. Cosmic's only tapping it, and Lucas has his number, but looks away at just the wrong moment, and that gives the showstopper. The nuke doesn't land, and this is the chance. Cosmic just needs one bullet, and Square gets it! It's a close-up, and William & Mary take down Delaware!
As you were going away there, J Turbo, in my mind, I'm like, if there's one person that's going to clutch it right here, right now, it's going to be Square. I mean, such a stellar player, week on week, time after time. I look back to my specific cast of William & Mary that I had with Flater way back in the day, and both of us would always be awe-inspired by what Square would do for this team. So impactful and so stellar, but I do give giga props across the board. You pointed out that the scoreboard impact from Cosmic, from Lucas, just Delaware fought tooth and nail in this series, and the 13-11 speaks to that. What an electric third map.
What an electric series, honestly. I mean, both of these teams bringing their all map 3 going to 24. You couldn't write a better story. And for William & Mary, this is a squad that this entire fall split has been a struggle for them. Not able to pick up very many wins, losing to squads like Hawaii, and now taking down Delaware. Absolutely massive going into the spring split. But I mean, with how long this series went, you know, we've got more matches on the way. So I'm gonna hop out of the booth. Strive, you're gonna stick around for Cincinnati v Howard when we return.
Welcome back, everybody. After an electric series there, coming off of an amazing 3-mapper, we are at it yet again. As you can see, J Turbo has departed, and this is always how I mess it up and go the wrong way. This is Anton. I am Strive yet again one more time. Let's get this underway. Anton, first and foremost, how you doing? We have a fresh map there. I believe you caught the tail end or most of the last series. How you feeling tonight coming off that amazing 3-mapper that we just watched?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, my heart is racing. I wasn't casting that game, so I can be a bit biased. I was rooting for Delaware, I'm not gonna lie. The last round, the 1 versus 2 at like half HP, very nicely done from their opponents to be able to close that one out. But I mean, that was a banger of a matchup, no matter what. So congratulations on consolidation to Delaware. But William and Mary, they are like reigning champs technically, right? So it's gonna be a given that they're going to be good in any single matchup, especially with that 6-round comeback in the first half. Holy crap! I don't. It kind of left me speechless. I don't really know what to say about it, but just anyways, nicely done to them. But we have to get on for the rest of our day. We have 2 more matchups for you guys here. First of all, we've got Howard versus Cincinnati for the second game of the day, as well as Tennessee, Knoxville, and Texas State later on after this one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this series first and foremost. Like, we set such a good precedence off that first match that we just watched. It's going to be a really, really fun electric one as well. Cincinnati and Howard, we've seen them participate and just be nuts all across the board. Cincinnati, for me, I've seen more of than Howard, but you can't dismiss these 2 teams. Vulcan, Waldy, Taka, Dummy, Injectile on the side of Cincinnati. The Bison's going to be rolling up with Ballin, Kai, Neviage, Kenny Cosmic, and BMM. I am super duper pumped, Anton, and we have a nice little map lineup as well to talk about here.
Yeah, this is I don't really think there's too many surprises here, right? We've got Bind, Breeze, and Haven. Breeze might be the only kind of outlier. We don't really see that much in EGF, but I mean it's there. It's definitely more. Well, I want to say it's more prevalent in Sunset, but I don't even know if that's true at this point. I think a lot of teams are taking a liking to that map. So Breeze, maybe it is one of the weird ones out here. But yeah, Bind to start us off, and Haven if we need to get there, which we did once again see in our previous matchup as well. But yeah, so this is probably not going to be too surprising in terms of rosters either. I say rosters. Sorry, I mean compositions. Given the fact that we've seen Cypher on the up and up over the course of the last couple of weeks after the buffs, especially now. I don't know how many people were tuning into Game Changer just now, but 2 Cyphers on Sunset. It's pretty standard stuff. I'd be surprised if we didn't see a single one here. We might see a Chamber from one of these rosters if they're feeling kind of confident, but Ballin's is going to be hovering that immediately. Projectile perhaps teasing us a little bit there. Maybe the entire team teasing us a little bit. But I wouldn't disagree with a Yoru pick. We've seen it time and time again. Like surprisingly, I can say that even in pro matches, even in semi-pro, wherever you want to see it, Yoru probably this is one of his best maps other than Breeze. That would probably be his second best. But here you can play with the TPs. You can send your clone through. It always sounds like a player. Nothing else no other utility in the game. Sounds like a player when you can send it through the teleporter, so that's quite useful if they want to bring it. But for now, we're not even gonna get an idea on what they're gonna bring. All we know is that there's a double smoke on the side of Howard.
Mental games. Wait a minute, double smoke. Are you good, man? There's 5 of them on the board right now.
Why is it Howard, not Cincinnati?
Oh,
side.
sorry. You're good. Okay, my bad. I misheard you there. I just thought this is awesome. Yeah, this is either A, mind games, or B, we're just having a good time here. Alas, I think what Howard's sitting on is the
Select your agent.
the approach that I would take to this map. Okay, here we
gosh.
go. Here we go. Anton, it's going to be the 5 euros. Pack your bags, go home. We can retire.
Someone do it. Someone's got to lock it in. It's actually good on this map.
It is. No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. It's such a vibrant agent, and with Bind, rotates are a little bit more tricky. Ooh, wait a minute. What?
They just rouletted.
They rouletted.
No way.
Hold on, let's talk about the combo. Don't get too ahead of yourself real quick. So we have the Yoru duelist. That was a given considering the Yoru was the hover. The Harbor, I like it. The Brimstone, I like it. I don't know how I feel about the Sage Deadlock combination, but it's actually kind of good.
Yeah, ironically, like 4 of these agents
not work to you.
Yeah, no, like I think the Deadlock is the only really out of place thing that we see in this composition. There's still, obviously you can talk about stuff like agent comfortability on, like maybe some of them are not on their main rules, but whatever the case, everyone works really. You see the Sage every once in a while. I think it's been proven a few times that it's not the best. Like NRG has run it sometimes, and then they've accidentally entered themselves with walls and like have a nade and hookah, and then you wall stuff like that. But yeah, we can ignore that. Maybe Cincinnati has something to make it work with. But yeah, I think the deadlock is the only thing that's a bit strange. But the ult's kind of useful. It's great for post plant. It's great for just guaranteeing a 1v1. So maybe they have something to do with this. I don't know. They're on attack first. They're just looking 5 down short A. So perhaps they go fast off. This is a shorty inside the smoke though.
Is that the play? BMM? Oh boy. Bonks one in the rear end. That's Waldy. Hits the TP to get away to safety. We'll take that all day, every day for the side of Howard now. The wall's up from Harbor. Going to split site for the time being and keep Kenny in the backside guessing. Where they go from here, though? How do they manage the insane amount of utility?
Time to hunt.
Dog through. Okay.
The ball.
Something.
Healing over here.
Yeah. The dog ain't going anywhere through there, Anton. I'll tell you that much. And then there's a sage wall on top of it. This is an absolute situation and a half. I feel for Howard right now. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, this is kind of like you remember I speak about Game Changers again. Game Changers literally like a couple days ago, where was it SMG accidentally locked in 4 duelists, not knowing that it was live. They thought it was like some kind of ping test or something like that.
Bruh.
But it was live, and they had to work with it. That's probably not what Cincinnati was thinking, but it kind of feels the same way when your opponents. When you yourself don't know what you're doing. How the heck can Howard know what you're doing? Like this is, there's no way they play against Deadlock outside of ranked, right? There's literally no way they play this in officials. So with the team coordination that Cincinnati have, they're probably going to be able to make something work. They're going fast A again, slow it down a little bit, but the walls go up, and that's what lets the judge in.
Their site entry and post plant is actually ridiculous if you think about it, right? The amount of value that a Harbor offers, oh my god, they're just having fun. Going ahead for the U-Haul push. Waldy doing work with the judge. Nice little trades there from Viper as well. Howard in the running. But again, look at this utility. Sage wall, deadlock, Utah blocking off this area. And by this area, I mean truck. Let's just call everything this and that this game, Anton, and see how that works out. Viewership's gonna smack me across the face, I'll tell you one time. But speaking of face smacking, Kenny, nice little trade. But 2v1 now, and a very confident Taka just goes for the swing and comes out on top there. A reasonably expensive round, though, by the way. Cincinnati did buy up pretty much everything, and they lost 3 members. But they don't seem too phased in the grand scheme of it.
Yeah, that's not the end of the world. I think Wally's going to be suffering a little bit. I think he's bought up a rifle from one of his teammates, and he's going to go with the judge again, which he did last round, so it's not like he doesn't like the weapon. Projectile is the only one that's going to be without the rifle for now. Taka could make a sacrifice, but I don't think he's going to be able to be doing that one. This is going to be a bonus no matter what. But it's a strong bonus with 3 rifles and a judge, so I would love this if I was Cincinnati. Not only did you roulette a comp that actually makes somewhat sense, but you've won the pistol, you've won the follow-up, and now you're on a bonus with 3 rifles and a shotgun. You're looking at a B site, which is semi-weak. They've got 2 very strong lockdown agents here. We've got the Viper with the smokes. We've got the Cypher who just has the trips, which are newly buffed, of course. They're going to try and get right through. These walls are still very, very helpful, strangely. And are they going to be able to get through this?
Spike down B.
These are nuts, by the way. Like the potential for Cincinnati to get onto a site is great, but what Howard is doing correctly is their position on site. They're not going to go ahead and succumb to the utility of Cincinnati and being on the back foot of unable to penetrate across these walls that you pointed out, whether it's Harbor or Deadlock. And now completely switch and hold here. Oh, wait, hello? Nice shot from Dummy. Quick response there from Ballin, but Howard very quickly on the board with a strong 4v2.
All these fast, though. Canny gets deleted off that corner on the site, and they have a flank they have to worry about. Not quite anymore. Kai doesn't manage to find the kill. 2-on-2 still because of how well they did in the site itself
30 seconds
originally.
left.
But the Brim does make his way on. Dummy is still inside of hookah, watching for anyone that might be crossing, but the timing is not great. Ballin claims the kill onto his teammate. Not even the spray. Can't connect. Dummy tries to jump out of the window. Manages to get out. Does he have the timing for this one? Seems like he does. 1-on-1 now. Spike able to be recovered, and he's going to be planting inside the tube. Super safe. Ballin's going to try and spam this. Barely gets it. 23 HP. Needs to land 1 bullet to win the first defensive round for Howard. But it looks like he's lost his opponent. And Dummy just working his way around. Now he's in a very, very safe spot. But he also doesn't know where the Cyphers went. Who gets the timing here? Looks like it's Ballin. 1-on-1, and he wins it out with a triple kill in the round.
Precarious for Dummy to think that Cypher had already crossed all the way to the other side of site. I wouldn't have processed it that way. But, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Close round, and Dummy was just tasting victory for the most part. Interesting, though. This comp as a whole, Anton, I still don't know what to expect in this matchup. But off these first 3 rounds, I can tell you that both teams are firing on all cylinders. The shots have been great. The overall approach to the map has been very much simple, yet exciting to watch. How we get into it later on, though, I don't know. I still, like you said, I don't even know when I've seen a deadlock on a competitive game or on desk like this. Like, when do you see a deadlock to know how it synergizes with a team of 5 on the map of Bind?
But the ironic thing is, like, we mentioned a couple of times before already, that it goes really well with the, with the Sage Wall. Like, that is one of the biggest strengths of a double Sentinel, is a deadlock Sage Wall. And the fact that they have that lets them adapt to certain situations that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. They have a very light buy here, and they're getting looked at by pretty much the entire team of Howard other than the Cypher, but they're also getting flanked, which means this defense knows exactly what's going on right now. This heal's going to come out and make sure that everyone else other than himself is topped up. And it looks like Cincinnati do have to slow it down just a little bit, but they're getting wrapped very, very fast here.
Walken for the 1, potential 2 here. Nice jiggles there from Kenny. Kenny's been so good this game, by the way. Really confident on these peaks and takes, and in a 2v4 situation now. Cincinnati, pigeonholed and short. Big flash comes in. Ballin and Kenny Cosmic are going to do the deed and bring home yet again another round for Howard. Either Cincinnati is just toying with their food and just having a good old time, or they're really struggling up against Howard here. I honestly can't tell.
I mean, it's clear that they're toying with their food, right? they just rouletted a Yoru, which, like, out of any agent to roulette, I get it. You guarantee yourself a good duelist. It's a bit ironic that they didn't do it on the Brim, because the Brim is arguably a little bit more useful, like, guaranteed. But I mean, once again, they have a good duelist. You can play with the TPs, whatever. So far, they haven't done that, but they have kind of utilized the strength of the Sage deadlock. Other than that, it's been quite simple so far. Good heads up play by Howard to just go flanking immediately, take a risk. But here is another risk. Looking down instead of up, BMM just gets his head taken off, and Waldy has found himself alone in the A site. Second lurk tries to come through. Taka gets taken out outside showers, but this guy's so close. Kenny is too fast for him.
Minute 14 on that clock. So many ultimates available as well. Neviaj, nice little peek there. Nice support there from Ballin as well. You got this hookah area on lock, by the way, Anton. Ain't nobody coming through a tripwire, and Hyper up in the corner. Yeah, nice awareness. Vulcan was trying to be smart with it, and Dummy there goes for the swing out of Garden. It just seems like they're feeding Howard, Anton. This isn't the Cincinnati that I know and have come to love. It feels disconnected. It doesn't feel right in an odd way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I mean, even in that round, it was just one person walk in somewhere and just try and get a pick. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's eco. So I guess you just want to try something. I would love to see them actually have some kind of idea going in these rounds where they have, especially when they have 4 ults, right? The deadlock ult is so useful for zoning. If anyone's standing inside Garden, they're basically just dead. I don't think that one person's able to shoot them out of the cocoon. So there is an option to open up with this ultimate as well. But they're going to find some information with Vulcan, try and get an ultimate off of that as well, I think. That's some Paper X style stuff right there. And Vulcan gets a pick off. Very nicely done. That's exactly what I would like to see. The adaptation to the composition that they were given. And now they should get a free spike plant.
Here.
Yep, 100% here. Kai stuck behind the wall. Wouldn't mind winning it up, but instead goes for the melted approaches. You got to get towards sight, step number 1. Again, deadlock Sage combination is just so frustrating, Anton. You can't, like, what do? You have just so much stuff blocking you. BMM gets a nice little shot there onto Dummy as well. Kenny out of the hookah for the 1. Nice translation there from Taka to respond back with a trade. 3v3 now. Harbor utility is down. Projectile, nice little peek as well. Going for 1s, going for 2s. And Waldy out from the fringes is able to get the final one with that Odin. So after a little bit of tossing and turning and missing of the bowl of spaghetti, Cincinnati finally take a bite there out of the Bison's defense.
Yeah, might have taken 2 ultimates, but they show that they can make those ultimates work for them. That's a pretty standard stuff. Even in regular play, even in pro play, you see the Yoru ults go in and spot for the Brimstone in order to know where to ult, and even sometimes you can body block for your teammate as well, just in case. But good stuff from Cincinnati. Now they're still working with 2 ults. They have a res, which is kind of reactive. and they have the Harbor ult as well, which can be used to get some information. So if they want to go fast B again, that is an option. There is no one in hookah, only a trip, and no one really is able to play off of it unless the Viper has an angle, which I think he might. This wall is going to go up and let them have some kind of advantage, but no, both trips go down very far forward, and now they have to worry about what's going to happen on the site because they're letting these guys walk up and try and execute. Viper's already down.
Here comes that Harbor ultimate as well. Cincinnati just go ahead and initiate funneling activity.
Planted.
Hitting that B site, going for yet another plant. This is the Cincinnati that I know, by the way. Much more electric,
One enemy
landing their
remaining.
shots, getting it on site, making it look almost too easy. And with Jectile holding the aggressive post onto Kai, the Bisons get nothing more than 2 inches of space to breathe.
That one's a little bit tough. I put the wall up outside hookah, like I get it. You want to play off the trips, but Cincinnati don't rush that fast. They go slow enough where they can take these trips out and just walk right up to the Viper wall. And that kind of situation is like that wall, yes, it blocks vision, but it also lets them get so close that they can just prep for their exec, whatever they want to do. And maybe you can say, oh, they don't have a plan, they just roulette it. Oh, Howard don't know that for sure, right? You don't see what your opponents are doing in agent select until the very end. So whatever the case, that is what the wall is doing. And now trying to walk out long. I think they just really wanted an orb or try to pop flash out this long smoke or something like that. But whatever the case, because of an Odin on the enemy team, doesn't really matter. You can go for the spam. You have the bullets to do it, and Waldy takes the first kill and just walks right up long.
I don't think Waldy cares at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and put in some work. Hard clear the anger. Actually, not even hard clear, just wide swing, then leaving marbles out of it. Kenny holding that, picks it up. What?
He just walked up.
Yes, BMM just went on a side quest and unlocked every single achievement in 3 seconds flat.
But Vulcan also walked into the defender spawn and got a kill as well.
You will not kill my ally.
Vulcan, the res from Jectile onto Taka. And just like that, the tides have turned.
Spike drop.
Player standing.
Get a second though, but Neviage, that's a fast shot. Now it's a 1v1. 30 seconds. Taka could go anywhere. He could decide to go to B, and now he's seen Neviage here. He's going to make the transition. That is an easy decision for him to make. All the way over to the site. He's got plenty of time. Could he teleport again? Maybe. It's going to be a bit tight, so he's going to go for the plant anyways. Through spawn goes the Viper on the defense. He's caught a Viper's pit, so if he's able to get on the site itself, there is a chance. Taka is going to go for the 1 bullet and a dream play. And he knows he has to stick this position on the site as well. He can't just leave. Lets the Viper get away with it. Misses the shot though. Getting a bit too cocky. Ooh. And Neviash straight through the barrel takes Taka's life.
I didn't count out Taka, by the way, for the re-TP. To be quite honest with you, I felt it coming, but alas, all is good. Neviash though went ballistic. That last shot especially, just so committed. I think the Cincinnati Bearcats here, they got to get their ducks in a row ASAP, because it feels like, dude, there's something not clicking in my mind, Anton. Like, there has to be, is Cincinnati really just that nutty that they're going to go ahead and just all of a sudden turn up? Or are they comfortable? Like, they have to be comfortable giving up this amount of space this early on in the matchup.
It's really tough to say, because like you can tell just from the start of the game, like the fact that they rouletted, they're trying to have fun with this first map. Maybe if it goes wrong, they're gonna take next one a bit seriously. They've spotted for the teammates. This Brim is just gonna be stuck here forever. He's not even really gonna be able to move. He's not gonna react at all. Gets taken out from the back. None of his teammates try and help him out. And it looks like that does let them onto the site. Barrier's gonna go through, prevent Kenny from exiting from this U-Haul position. Plant is gonna try and go down, but Vulcan's got another kill in the meantime.
Yeah, they are just speed running this
Spike
fight
planted.
take now. Getting super aggressive. Neviage in the back corner. A little bit of a grim wall coming up there. Kenny reads that one. Waldy connecting from downtown. By bench now, it's Kenny Cosmic in a 1v4. The jump up spot from bench is just so good, but Sage Wall's blocking it. Dummy here, a jiggle in the peak. You're not going to get out of there, Kenny. There's so many crosshairs on your forehead.
Well, when they want to, they can turn up. Maybe what it takes is a Yoru. Maybe just stack orbs on Yoru every single time. Go showers, go B. It would be probably the easiest character to stack orbs on, given the fact that you can teleport across the map. But whatever the case, they do spend a couple ults to get into that site, and they make it work for them. And Vulcan's already charged his ult up to 4 already. because of how well he did after the fact. So very nicely done from him and the rest of Cincinnati. And once again, we look at the scoreboard. It's kind of clear to see that they're kind of having fun with it. They have a double op setup, one on Taco, which is, he's the bottom frag right now, one of the controllers. The other one is also on a controller. It's Waldy, the Brimstone. Probably not the ones you want the op on, especially two of them. But the first one doesn't quite work out. Vulcan does go down first. But that Boombot should not be able to get through the wall, I don't think. The plant is going to get denied. He should go down here. No, Taco lives, just barely. Injectile gets a response. Neviage on the flank as well. This is so... I don't even know what's happening in this round, Strive.
Yeah, I think you and I are both just like watching this from an observer perspective, but imagine the observer trying to follow this situation, right? Like there's 200 things happening, alternates, nades, pushes, flanks, pistols and shorties and ops, and at this point, like, Anton, just have fun with it, I guess, is what the motto of this game is for Cincinnati. There's it's a story and a half right now. I don't know. I'm just trying to take it all in and put the pieces together. On the one front, I do truly feel like Howard can continue to run away with these cheeky rounds of Cincinnati, and we've heard this before on EGF, by the way, where teams will slip 1, slip 2, and then turns it to 3, and then 4, and then by the end of it, they're like, we let way too many rounds go. Now we're in trouble. I just hope that it doesn't get to that point for Cincinnati, as the Howard University Bison continue to echo away.
Yeah, once again, it looks like quite a simple round so far. They're just running their way in A. BMM this time, once again, is a shotgun. Ed is a little bit of a bigger one this time. He's not a shorty most of these rounds. He's not going to be able to peek out of this smoke without going down, so he's not going to be able to decide to do that either until the Boombot clears it out for him, and Vulcan actually gets one of his teammates from the sour spot as well. It's a bit risky, dodges out the rocket. Full HP for both the guys that are trying to push into shot. Excuse me, Vulcan didn't take any damage from the rocket at least. But this op should get caught out. Taka, no chance. Nice shot from BMM, good positioning. Let's see if they want to keep committing. Waldy does take out Kai from the back of the site with the orbital strike, but it looks like with that kill, they decide to go all the way to B. And they already have positioning and the spike here as well.
Yeah, Ejectile gonna get that down, block off spawn as well. That's one of the choke points blocked, but alas, the majority of the action is coming in via Hookah. Ejectile is about to be met with a bit of trouble. No, Cosmic, or sorry, Kenny can't get out, and Vulcan comes in from the backside for another one. Ballin, that's a nice shot on top of it here. 1v1, Sage v Cypher. Who's got the sauce here, Anton?
Cage triggered.
Oh, I was about to say, he's got the cage to be able to block vision on the spike, but instead he uses it to try and get out because he doesn't know where the Sage is gone. Second cage is inside Hookah, so no chance for it, but he does get the spot, and he gets the shot, clutching out 2 rounds in this half alone for Ballin. Very nicely done, takes them to 5, and gives them a chance to tie up this half.
These are those rounds that I was telling you about, right? Like, it's all fun and games until it gets down to a 1v1 when numbers don't even play a part in it. It ends up truly being a battle. You're not going to throw a 1v1 or jokingly buy an Odin. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that. The Bearcats got to be very aware of what's going on here, albeit it is first half, so they can easily, you know, buckle up their belts here and tie up their laces in the second half of this matchup. But the Bisons are no joke. They do know how to capitalize on mistakes and come out on top when given the chance to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in this round, the buy's not great, right? This is the last round of the half. They have to go and buy out. They were about to consider 2 judges. BMM is going to keep the judge that he's been actually doing decent on, and Kai is going to have the SMG from inside showers, spawning out at least one while he gets tagged by that flash. And speaking of flashes, Vulcan gets all the way through, and Taka just blind fires into the smoke with the spot from his teammate. Vulcan seems to want to do attends, can't get the shotgun fast enough, and Kai can't do the same either as a res happening in showers, but they're having a flank so fast as well. Looks like Howard have done exactly what you have mentioned. They have capitalized on the mistakes from Cincinnati. And the last one alive, Taka, holding it up, has the gun to do it in a 1v3 with 1 minute on the clock.
The op's going to be the one to get the ones for sure. But is the crosshair going to line up and find opportunity? I like Ballin's repositioning, using that cage like you mentioned as well to get into a nice little spot. Showers is the focus of the round now. Harbor, I mean, Taka's throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at this showers area. But I don't know if that's going to yield any positive results with the Bisons just around the corner.
Nice Viper's Pit as well. Last round, might as well use it. And against the op, you know, they know he has. There's no opportunity to switch out a weapon here. The shotgun is the only thing that could do something. And Nebiad has a bigger one of his own. So they do end up tying up the half, 6-6.
Switching sides.
Nice. Half two. So, Anton, the question is half two going to be that place where things kind of come back to level ground and we get, we put the shovel to the dirt here, or we in just for another dandy old back and forth Bearcats having a good old time situation?
Well, this is the weird part about this comp, right? The fact that they got given the double sentinel. This is it's a little bit strong. Like you have not only deadlock information across the map, you have the sage wall along with it. So there's a lot of delay, especially during pistol round. The unfortunate thing is for Cincinnati, they're actually picking the wrong site. They're looking five. I think I count 5 towards B site. There's literally no one in A. Howard has a gamble stack towards, or excuse me, Cincinnati have a gamble stack, and Howard is choosing the correct site that it's not stacked on. And if they get a bit too far, then they should understand that the entire site is clear. No one is here. The dog's gonna clear out the entirety of U-Haul. And it looks like they're walking straight into showers, but these guys trying to catch can't do that. And in fact, they go straight towards that B, hearing all the TPs. And Cincinnati play around the world with them.
Round and round we go. How many teleporter sounds are we going to hear in one single round? Place your bets here. Don't do it, actually. I'm kidding. Ballin on the flank. We get one. No. 4 TPs coming. Oh! We don't get the ones in hookah, but we land that one right there. And now with the entire... Holy cow, dude. I just went on an international world tour first class, and I didn't pay a single penny for it.
Well, I guess you missed the easy ones. You landed the hard ones. That was kind of crazy. Unfortunately for Howard, they weren't able to go fast enough because it's bind and don't really get punished for making the wrong gamble stack if you can just 5 TP to the other site. So nicely done from Cincinnati to not only do that, but also kill the 2 players that were meant to catch them outside the showers TP. Like semi meant to catch them, semi just probably just pushing showers. But whatever the case, yeah, if that fight goes a different way, that round could also go a different fashion. But no matter what, Cincinnati do end up taking it. They have the great buy now. It looks like there is going to be a force from Howard. They have 4 Stingers and a Spectre in the hands of Kai, respectively. And it's just SMGs across the board other than Dummy with a rifle. It's going to be so weird. They're running down 5B again. If they see no one, are they going to TP? Are they going to run back and TP? I think they are. They're doing literally the same thing. And Howard, this time they're going fast enough, sending no one outside showers. So they do actually get a free plant here.
Teleporters are historically not a major focus on this map. Like, they don't get used as much as I love to see them get used, but this game is the polar opposite of that, by the way. There's so value add is we're watching World Tours, left, right, and center. Trades going out here, and it looks like there's a lineup coming in, but it's too little too late. The defuse is already said and done. BMM a little bit behind the curveball here.
I don't know if he was waiting for some teammate to calm that it was being defused.